Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, good morning.
I am feeling so serene about my Dallas Cowboys that when the Green Bay Packers just snapped up Jalen Smith yesterday, I said, I don't even care. It doesn't bother me a bit. We're so loaded, we don't even need him anymore.
Oh, y'all loaded now, huh? Y'all loaded, just too deep in every position.
Yeah, and you're in such trouble.
Actually, I'm not in trouble.
Yeah. Not
Your day
yet?
coming on Sunday.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah, your
I
day
can't wait
coming
for
on
that.
Sunday.
That little do-bat that we got.
Danny dives, right, Shannon? I cannot wait for this one. Guys, we actually have some NBA news to start the show. I promise we'll get to your Cowboys, Skip. But here's the latest. 72% of NBA GMs and the majority of bettors think the Nets are favorites to win the NBA title this year, even with the uncertainty surrounding Kyrie Irving's availability for home games. Kevin Durant spoke optimistically about his teammate situation yesterday, saying, I'm envisioning Kyrie being a part of our team. Maybe I'm just naive, but that is just how I feel. So, Shannon, at this point, how will this play out?
I think Kevin Durant and myself are envisioning Kyrie getting the vaccine and making everything okay. Eventually, Skip, they were going to get tired of, and I think Steve Nash said that we're not moving practice so he can practice. It's not like they can play their home games in another arena, Skip. It is what it is. The arena rules have been established, and so that's where we are. And I think the thing is that KD and Kyrie, they went to Brooklyn for this very reason. They could have gone to any other team, Skip. They could have gone to the Knicks. They said, no, the Knicks have already won a championship. The Knicks brand is already established. Why not go somewhere where they've never won a championship? People look down on this franchise because they haven't had a whole lot of success. How about we go there and turn it around? Then we'll be heroes. We'll be cult figures for the rest of our lives. Well, this is your opportunity. And the only thing that can get in the way of this, Skip, obviously injury, you know how injury impacted it last year, is this COVID vaccine. Now, do I believe they could possibly win the championship with KD and James Harden? Sure.
Do you really?
I do, Skip. I do, Skip.
Don't.
It makes it a lot more difficult.
I'd say.
Because now all of a sudden you're on a level playing field. Milwaukee might have an advantage.
KD, James Harden, and Patty Mills? I don't know.
They got Blake. They got a few.
Okay.
You like the Bruce Brown. You like Bruce Brown.
Him.
But I think now all of a sudden you bring Miami into the fold. You bring the Bucks into it. You bring the Philadelphia Eagles if and when they get their situation resolved. So, Skip, I think it makes it a lot more difficult than it would just with KD and James Harden. Now, you throw Kyrie in the mix. The general manager said there's 77% chance of winning it all.
They did.
So it showed they're the 7 and 10.
77% of the GMs voted for them as the best team.
Right. So you talk about
only 17% said the Lakers were
so
the
damn
best
near 80% of the general managers believe with those three in the lineup, they're the overwhelming favorite.
That's prohibitive.
And so, Skip, for me, that's the only thing that can slow this thing down. And KD even said it. Maybe I'm being naive, but at some point in time, the rubber's going to need to meet the road.
It is.
And Kyrie's going to have to make a decision. And the Brooklyn Nets are going to have to make a decision.
They are.
Are we going to have to, because every game that he does not play, we're going to have to address this. If and when Kyrie's going to get the vaccine, have you talked to Kyrie? Do you think he's going to be open to getting the vaccine? Have you talked to Kyrie? Well, KD, how does that make you feel knowing that you have a championship caliber team and one of the guys that you assembled with?
Yep.
KD went there because of Kyrie. And now here we are. We went. Not only did I come here because of you, we can win a championship. Mm-hmm. And the only thing that's going to prevent us from winning a championship is us. James Harden says if we do things the right way, we got a great opportunity to do something special. Well, I think the right way is going to be, at the end of the day, is going to come down to whether or not Kyrie gets vaccinated. I believe he's going to get vaccinated. That's what I do believe, Skip, and then we'll go from there. But right now, he's making things a lot more difficult for the Brooklyn Nets than probably what it needs to be.
Shannon Sharpe, I so hope you're right, but I don't know why you think he'll suddenly get vaccinated. Because of what? What leads you? Are you just guessing? Are you educated guessing? Are you wishing and hoping?
The same thing that led Andrew Wiggins to get it.
Okay. Well, now that was he admitted that was just money.
Exactly.
That was $32 million. This is $33-ish million.
Right.
Okay? But Andrew said, "I want my kids to have generational wealth."
Right. So basically, half. So you split that in half because you play 41 games at home and 41 on the road. So you split that in half. So whatever Kyrie's salary is, split it right down the middle. And it's costing him, what, $372,000 for these preseason games that he's missing.
Kyrie has made a lot more money in his time than Andrew has made in his time in the league. It just strikes me that money is not the object for Kyrie Irving.
Okay.
His principles are his passion now. He envisions himself as a visionary, as a breakthrough thinker against the grain, seeing the truth before others see it. And he's taking a stand now, just the way he took a stand on Earth is flat, Illuminati rule the world quietly, secretly. And now he's saying that the COVID vaccine, I haven't heard this exactly from him. I'm assuming this is what he's saying. Mm-hmm. The COVID vaccine is a government plot against us all. Mm-hmm. And that in the end, we'll all find out that we were duped and taken evilly advantage of by the United States government. That's where we're heading, because that's the way his mind works. Mm-hmm. And I respect his mind, and I love his mind, and I love him as a player. And you know how much I love the Nets, but I do not love this situation. And I'm doubting he's going to get vaccinated. I hope you're right.
Why not trade him? Well,
the truth is, I'm sure they have discussed that. But because of this stance, he's making himself, a la Ben Simmons, virtually untradeable unless you want to get back 10 cents on the dollar.
Well, no, Skip, he's not untradeable because all you have to do is trade him to a place that doesn't have one of these mandates in place. So only two.
But it's still some issue for the team. That there is some problem that you're going to have to cope with if he says, I'm not going to get vaccinated.
Right.
His value won't be peak value. And if they feel like they have to get rid of him, that's the Ben Simmons situation. Trading for Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
Because James Harden's your point guard, and now you can play Ben Simmons at a point forward.
Okay. Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
That seems pretty even up to me, actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would actually do that. I would advocate that if the Sixers want to deal with the issues of he's not vaccinated.
And he makes Philly that much better because you got a guy. Can you imagine Kyrie and Joel Embiid in the pick and roll, Skip? Can you imagine doubling down on Joel Embiid and he kicks it to Kyrie?
All right. I don't mind that. I think Kyrie would balk at it. I don't think he wants to live and play in Philadelphia.
Well, he ain't got no
he is from New Jersey,
yeah,
so it's pretty close.
To Philly.
It's closer to Philly than Brooklyn is in a lot of ways, right? Okay, so I'm back to Kevin's quote. And to your point, the irony of this is, I believe Kevin Durant is easily the best player in the league. But in this relationship with Kyrie Irving, he is the follower and Kyrie is the leader. Mm-hmm. So he's not taking a stand against the leader of their friendship.
Right.
He's just basically saying, I'm envisioning Kyrie being part of this team. Well, it's almost like I'm fantasizing about it. I'm dreaming of
everything's
it.
I'm going to wake up in the morning and Kyrie got vaccinated and everything happily ever after.
But his next quote is, maybe I'm just being naive, but that's just how I feel.
Right.
Well, obviously, you, Kevin, have been in close touch with Kyrie, I'm assuming, and I'm assuming he keeps hearing about government plot.
Right.
That's what I'm assuming, that he's hearing Kyrie is completely and utterly dug in.
Right.
So he's telling the media, just to get himself off the hook and out of the line of fire, he's saying, I'm envisioning. It was actually a good way to answer the question. I'm envisioning, I'm hoping, I'm dreaming.
The way I see things.
Right?
But that's not how it is right now.
It's coming across like that's an ominous quote from Kevin. That could be a damning quote from Kevin because it's the old damning with faint praise.
Skip, the thing is that all KD wants to do is play basketball.
Yeah.
Skip, he doesn't.
All he wants to do is
he don't want to call no team meeting.
I agree.
He don't want to call no team meeting.
Okay.
He don't want to give no pep talks.
Okay.
Kevin Durant want to go out there and hit 30.
Okay. That's how I'm built to love basketball.
Yes.
Shannon Sharpe was born with a gift to play football, and he worked his tail off to play it. But he hooped, in effect. When it was time to hoop, he hooped.
Right.
Because you loved it, and you're willing to sacrifice several body parts to play it at a supremely high level that got you into the Hall of Fame. And you continue to tell me, I'm good with all the sacrifices. I would not change a thing.
Wouldn't change a thing. Do it all over again, knowing what I know now.
You just had one hip replaced, and I assume you're going to have the other one replaced.
The other one replaced in February.
Okay, that was the price you paid.
Of course, yeah.
And you paid it willingly, happily, with all your heart and soul, because it was really great.
Right.
It's what you were put on this earth to do.
And right now, I don't have my kids in position to have generational wealth.
Okay.
They'll be taken care of. They'll be well off.
They'll be well off.
Yes.
But that's the best you could do under the circumstances you played in your era.
That is correct.
You
that is
maximized
correct.
your earning power in your era.
Yes.
Okay, so you accomplished both goals.
Yes.
You're in the Hall of Fame, and you will help them be okay. They're going to be just fine
they'll be
going
fine.
forward.
Yes.
Okay. Here's Kyrie. He is now on the prohibitive favored Brooklyn Nets.
Yes.
And it was his doing. He was the driving force to put this super group together, this dream team together. Right. Now, the truth is, he's actually the third best player on this team.
No question.
Okay? But he is an extremely valuable part. I don't think they could win it without him. That's just me. He calls himself an artist, and I do not disagree with that. He is an artist in the basketball sense that he was born with a handle that I'm just not sure we've ever seen.
Right.
He's got the clutch gene.
Right.
He can make big. Obviously, he had the shot of shots in the Game 7 with LeBron and company as you guys came back from 3-1 down to Golden State. He's got his ring, and I think he's satisfied with that ring. I don't think he is driven to win this year's championship the way Kevin would be, or James needs to be, or anybody else on that team. So when you're an artist, the problem in basketball is that you're not an artist like a painter is an artist, because you can just go solo, or a sculptor is an artist, you can go solo, or even an actor is an artist. You can actually be in a solo universe as an actor. Denzel can just go take over the movie, and he doesn't really need that much help from his co-stars.
Correct.
He is the driving force. But in this case, this is not a me situation. This is a we. To display your artistry the way that you need to, you need a basketball team to do so. Am I right?
Yes.
So to be on a basketball team in a pandemic, you have to consider the we and prioritize it above the me.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
And he's not doing that.
Right.
It's all about me and my views, my political, my medical views, whatever you want to say. This has become, obviously, the biggest medical and political issue facing this country, you can argue right now, is the COVID vaccine.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. You mentioned him being an artist like a painter or like a sculptor. When you just paint like Picasso and Rembrandt, they didn't really sell a whole lot. So they were on their own timeline. So
Skip, they didn't sell while they were alive, unfortunately for them.
Right, but that's the thing, Skip. So I can take as long as I want to complete this work.
You can.
But Skip, when I commission you to do this sculptor or to do this painting, guess what? You need to be on the timeline. You need to have it finished when you said, well, even though he's an artist, you're on a timeline.
You're on a timeline.
You only got X amount of years to be able to do this, Kyrie. And so your championship window is right now. You don't have, say, well, in 10 years, then let me think about it and I'll get back to you. That's not how it works.
He's made a ton of money.
Yes.
I'm sure he's thinking, I'm just fine. I don't really need the $33 million.
But here's the thing. In order for him to do what he wants to do, which is help people, he's going to need more of that, Skip. If you realize he's really big helping the WNBA. He's really big. He gave scholarships to some historically black institutions.
He has a great.
So Skip, he needs to continue to do that.
I hope he thinks that. I'm not sure about it. So now that he's on the dream team and it's heavily favored to win this year's championship, he is in such a commanding position. He is holding them hostage. It's similar to the Ben Simmons situation, but very different, because while Ben Simmons is demanding a trade because you did me wrong, demanding a trade, Kyrie is daring them to trade him.
Correct.
I dare you to, because you know and I know you won't be quite as good without me, right?
Well, I think the biggest thing is he say, I know you won't trade me because that guy number 7 who holds all the cards, nothing goes in or out without his permission, because the last thing I'll upset everybody on that team except number 7.
That is correct.
James, I'll tick James Harden off. I'll tick number 11 off. I am not getting Kevin Durant.
Okay.
Because Skip, look, and all these guys, I used to say, all these guys are great in their own right.
Yep.
But that guy, that tall guy, that 7 foot tall that says all he wants to do is hoop.
it's all-time freakish talent.
Yes.
Rare talent in Kyrie.
Yes.
I still say indispensable to this year's team just because of his connection with number 7.
Right.
That's the problem.
Right.
That's how he's holding them hostage.
Right.
I brought you 7. You're going to trade me. You're going to alienate him.
Right.
He might just throw in the towel this year.
But Skip, at some point in time, even as my friend, and we're trying to accomplish something, if you're holding us back, well, I'm going to have to move on. And that's what happens a lot of times, Skip. When I was growing up, my friends didn't want the same things that I want. And even though we were friends, I realized that I was going to have to leave you behind.
You have to.
And at some point in time, Skip, Kevin Durant's going to have to come to the conclusion. Kyrie Irving doesn't want the same thing that I want as bad as I want it. And that's the only way it works. From top to bottom, have to be equally as invested. Well, if you're not equally as invested as I am, unfortunately, bro, we can still be cool, but I'm going to have to move on without you.
I hear you, which is why it hurts me to watch Kyrie take this stand, because we both agree that vaccination is clearly the way to go.
Right.
All the medical people in charge in the NBA have decided, NFL, every league,
right,
this is the way you have to do it.
Right.
This is the way to protect the product that allows you to make $33 million.
Right.
We'll have a better chance of avoiding the COVID protocol casualties, so to speak, if you will get vaccinated. He's the last holdout that I'm aware of. I'm sure there are a few others.
Bradley Beal.
Bradley Beal's a good one. That's a good one. But Kyrie is the primary principal in the spotlight holdout here.
Because his home arena says you can't play in it if you're not vaccinated, if you're on the home team.
Okay, and so look what the home team is up against right now. The only preseason time that Kyrie can participate with this team is next Monday night at, ironically, you brought it up, Philadelphia. That is the only time he can't practice.
No.
He can't play games, but this is the one game that will be before the home opener that he would be eligible to play in. Wait a second. Then 7 and 13 are saying, Kai, come on, man. We got to get this together.
Right.
We got to play a little bit of little preseason
He
together.
can't even practice,
No,
Skip.
he can't practice.
So that's
it. The whole preseason, he gets one shot Monday night at Philly.
Unless they're on the road, he can't even practice when they're home. They would have to move. They would have to move practice. Do you understand how cumbersome that would be? We're moving practice. We're picking up all this equipment, and we're moving it for one player.
And then they open at Milwaukee, which will be no bargain, but he could play there.
Yeah, he could play there,
But then they come home very quickly for I believe it's a 6-game homestand. And you're out.
Yeah, out.
Well, how can you? He's part-time at best.
Right.
For the Brooklyn Nets, the prohibitive favorites. And I guarantee you, your man LeBron James right now is licking his chops saying, we got a shot here because of this.
Yeah, everybody's looking at Milwaukee like,
you're right.
I pray you don't. Ooh, Miami, he's like, keep it going, Kyrie. Just keep this thing going. Okay,
but I give you that the Lakers shape up as the second best team. We're about to talk about their preseason, what we saw from them in their game at Phoenix yesterday. But the point is that, they're the second best team, and I would love to see Nets-Lakers in the finals.
Of course.
Everybody would.
Yes.
It would be star-studded.
Yes.
It would be can't miss.
Right.
And yet, all of a sudden, I don't know if they can I don't know if they can get there. I don't know if they can get past Milwaukee without Kyrie.
Right.
And he knows it better than anybody because he's got extremely high basketball IQ. So now you're holding them hostage. You're playing chicken. You're playing a game of blink with them. Who's going to blink first?
Correct.
I hope you're right. I hope Kevin's leaning in the right direction, that Kyrie will have made his stand and made his point, and that maybe the day before the Milwaukee game, he gets vaccinated.
Skip. Kyrie has an injury history.
Yep.
He's had surgery on several body parts. They put Kyrie under anesthesia. If they wanted him done, he'd have never woken up.
Okay. Now you're going real conspiracy theory.
But if I'm using his logic,
that's his logic.
If I'm using his logic, if somebody wanted something done to him, they could have done it.
They could have done it. They could have put a chip in. They could have done it. Whatever. Yes. Okay. I got it. But in the end, this is about his love of basketball that I question, because he took a sabbatical last year. He had to get his head right, work on his mental health, whatever. I just don't know that he loves basketball the way most of these guys love basketball.
I think there are other things that's tugging on him. Like I said, I think he had an awakening. He had a moment where all of a sudden there were bigger things. There were things that were going on in the world.
I agree.
That piqued his curiosity and interest and tugged at him in a way that basketball has never tugged
Correct,
at him.
and I'm good with that.
I'm good with that also.
Okay, but at some point you have to choose.
But
you want to follow that path?
Right.
If you do, I'm good with it.
Right.
But you can't take the $33 million. You can't have it both ways.
You can't say, I need to do these causes, but I'm going to be part-time while y'all pay me full-time salary.
That is correct.
It just doesn't work like that, Skip.
No, you cannot have it both ways.
Right.
And if you're somehow burned out on basketball, if winning this year's championship really doesn't matter to you anymore, that these other things have so much more consequence in your life, I am cool with that.
Right.
Just go on.
Right. If that's what you want to do, just don't hijack the other 12, 13 members of the Brooklyn Nets.
That's what you're doing.
If that's what you want to do. Skip, I ain't got no problem. If that's what you want to do, you want to party. But guess what you're doing? They tell the guys, I mean, obviously in football, we didn't have it like this. And unless it was a superstar, and that's what he is, Skip. It's so few. You only got 12, 14 guys on the roster. And he's one of the three best. Football, the 35th guy is not going to have no impact. But you're talking about John, you're talking about TD, you're talking about a Ray Lewis or someone like that. Now that's going to have an impact on the team. Now, if you want to do your thing, do your thing. But let's not have it a negative impact on the football team. No. Or now, in this situation, the basketball team. I believe Kyrie's going to get the vaccination. I believe James Harden and KD will eventually get through them and say, bro, we got a chance to do something special.
Very special.
But you have to appeal to him. We can't do it without you. You're the only you make this work.
Okay.
You make this work,
I
Kyrie.
love that speech. I'm not sure Kevin's capable of making that speech to Kyrie. I hope he is.
Well, James go do it.
Well, James could appeal to him. I need help. You know, I don't have a ring.
Kyrie, I came here for you, bro. I know you were special.
Okay, I love that.
You embraced me with open arms. You said, hey, James, you the point guard.
He
I'm going to
said,
go to
here,
two guard.
you do this.
Bro,
yep.
We in this together.
Agree.
We're a team. We're a family. We need to do this because we got an opportunity to do something special. We got an opportunity to go down and be one of the historically great teams to win a title.
They do.
But we can only do that with you, Kyrie, bro. We can't do this without you.
Correct.
Even though in the back of their mind, they're like, well, you know, I think KD and James is enough. But we can't do it without you, bro. We need you.
Could you call Kyrie this afternoon? I think LeBron would not appreciate that.
Do you have a relationship enough with him?
I do not have I've only talked to him one time. He was a very interesting young man. I will say that.
But you're the fifth horseman in LeBron's, but you can't do that.
So why would I help?
That's what I'm saying. You can't.
It feels like you'd be maybe crossing a line. It's just hard to imagine the Nets without him, and I don't know. I hope we all figure this thing out.
No mercy.
Don't look now, but 44-year-old Tom Brady is second in the NFL in passing yards and tied for third in passing touchdowns. His hot start has made him, quote, comfortably the best-graded quarterback by Pro Football Focus, earning him a spot on their NFL first quarter All-Pro team. So, Shannon, how big of a problem do you got with this?
I have a huge problem, and Tom Brady should not even be a top three. He shouldn't be on the first team, the second team, the third team, or the fourth team. Now, Brady is 19th in completion percentage. Kyler Murray is first. Tom Brady is 16th in yards per attempt. Kyler Murray is second. Tom Brady is 8th in QBR. Kyler Murray is third. Kyler Murray has 4 turnovers. Tom Brady has 3 turnovers. I just don't. And the thing, what I'm looking at is that Kyler Murray went to the Rams and not just beat them, they beat them up, beat the brakes off them. The very team that the week before had just beat the brakes off of Tom Brady. So I'm confused. He's 4-0. His team is the number 1 scoring offense, averaging 35 points a game. And we just saw Tom Brady get outplayed in back-to-back weeks. He got outplayed by Matthew Stafford. He got outplayed by Mac Jones. He lost the first one, won the second one, but he got outplayed. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And so for me, when I look at it, and they keep talking about Tom Brady has no turnover-worthy plays. Tom Brady got hit and fumbled the ball against the Atlanta Falcons. He got strip sacked. Is that not a turnover-worthy play? So what is a turnover-worthy play? I hit the guy. The guy fumbles the ball. That's not a turnover-worthy play.
Talking about throws.
He threw the ball into a crowd. Is that not a turnover-worthy play?
It is not.
Why?
And you disqualified it the next day on the show. You sat right there and said, I'm not going to dock him for that one. He just took a shot at the end of the half. You throw a jump ball and hope that Gronk jumps and catches
So in other words, that's a turnover-worthy play because you threw the ball and you put the ball in harm's way.
No, you intentionally put the ball in harm's way.
Skip, if the results are the same, intent only matters to the person that's committing the act.
What is this, a court of law?
Yeah, because that's what I be trying to tell people. Intent only matters to the defender. The victim is just as hurt or just as dead.
There's no victim here.
Yes, it is. It's Kyler Murray.
It did not matter. It was end of half, fling it up and hope. It's called Hail Mary.
So let me ask you a question. Would they have given him a touchdown had Gronk or Mike Evans caught it?
Sure.
So in other words, you gave him a touchdown, but you don't want to give him a turnover because you're like, he's just throwing it up in hope. I'm confused. But everybody knows, Tom Brady has the most passing yards, but who has the most passing attempts? He doesn't have, he's 19th in completion percentage. Tom Brady's the most accurate. Bing, bing, bing. Somebody, bing, bing, bing. Oh, he's 19th? You mean to tell me there's 18 guys better than Tom Brady in completion percentage?
Tell me when it's my turn, please.
It's your turn.
Shannon Sharpe, your Brady hate does not become...
There's no hate. It's the facts.
It
Just
facts. I just hope our viewers, our dear viewers, can sit back right now and let this sink in, what this man is doing at age 44 or 24. It doesn't really matter. But I'm going to read the quotes from the backup here from Pro Football Focus as they explain why they're saying that he's far and away the best graded quarterback so far through 4 games.
Yeah, I want to hear this one.
What Brady continues to do is not normal. To even be a functioning starting quarterback at 44 is extremely unlikely. Obviously, you would agree with that.
Yes.
But to be the best in the NFL is madness.
But he's not.
It's madness.
Okay, well, give me some numbers.
Brady does not yet have a turnover-worthy play, and he doesn't. And he has only 12 in the time he's been with Bruce Arians, which is a no-risk-it, no-biscuit offense, which is high risk and somewhat high reward. It's medium reward.
That was before the bye week. Once the bye week came, have we been seeing the bombs away just to throw the ball? So is he still number one in air distance?
I don't know. I haven't checked that.
But, no, he's not.
But he is number one in getting rid of the football because it's 2.41 seconds to protect himself and his offensive line, and it works. Everybody can do the same. Everybody can get rid of it in 2.41, but they're just not capable of reading and cutting loose in 2.41 seconds because he's genius. He is the genius speed reader of the ages.
Skip, the reason why is that they diagrammed it, that there's a lot of short throws, there's a lot of crossing route, there's a lot of hitches, there's a lot of things that gets the ball out of his hand. Patrick, the reason why he's so far in yards per attempt is because he's doing what we call shore fishing. He's fishing right there around the edge.
I'm going to show you some longer throws here in just a second.
My homeboy and Kyler Murray, they deep sea fish. Matthew Stafford, they go out to catch the big fish.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. Let's go to opening night against my Cowboys, who were drastically underrated going into that game. What did he do in the end? He led yet another fourth quarter comeback drive to a walk-off field goal featuring some huge passes, one to Gronk for 20 yards. But let's go to the pass of the game. The throw of the night was 2nd and 10 at the Dallas Cowboy 42. This is crucial. This is only 24 seconds left. Back he drops, and I'd say that's not shore fishing. I think that's a deeper route because that went for 24 yards to Chris Godwin, and that sets up the suck-up walk-off field goal. It's big-time clutch throw because he is the clutchest playmaker I've ever seen in any sport, including Michael Jordan, who just didn't have as many opportunities to be as clutch as Tom has been over 21 years of pro football. It's unbelievable.
Okay.
Then let's go to game 2. It's at home against Atlanta, and all he did was throw for 5 touchdowns, okay? Then let's go to game 3 at Rams. He threw for 432 yards, albeit in a loss.
Albeit empty calories. Go ahead, though.
Empty calories. It was 34-24, and they're onside kicking to even cut it.
Skip, they were down 17 basically the whole game. Stop it.
432 still stands up as the most yards any quarterback this whole season has thrown for in regulation of any of the games we've seen so far. 432 against a defense you told me it might be the best in pro football, right? 432, I don't care empty calories. I don't care what kind of calories you say they are. High calories, low calories, they're just calories.
So let me ask you a question. Did any of those touchdowns, any of those yards put them in the lead of the ball game? Did they lead at any point in time in the ball game?
No. But again, they were obviously looking ahead as the Rams played their Super Bowl. And Coach McYay is running all over the field, butt slapping and running up in the tunnel. And it's their Super Bowl game while everybody's mind on the Buccaneers is in Foxborough.
So if that was the case, why didn't they play better? Why didn't they score 30 points against the Patriots? If everybody's mind was on the Patriots, if that was their focus, why did they only get 19 points?
That's a great question because I told you, I predicted this, I first guessed it, that Brady would be over-emotional and over-amped in the first quarter. Even you said that on the show the next day. But then when he settled in, can we see the throws that he started to make that were not cashed by his teammates, please? Can we see the first one to Mike Evans? This is a touchdown right here. This is a 6'5" receiver. It hits him right in the hands, if we can see it from the end zone shot. That's a Pro Bowl receiver. That well could have gone right to the end zone. Here's Cameron Brate. That's a 20-yard completion right there. And then here we go again to AB. What a sweet throw. Is that shore fishing? And again, that got called back. You said it's hands to the face, whatever. But here we go to AB. You want to talk about clutch? This is 2 minutes left, and he throws a home run. A rainbow home run to AB, and he just loses it in the lights. He's going to catch that. Then he says, I'm going right back to it, and I'm going to throw a rope to him. I'm going to throw a rocket. You've got to catch this. If you're a former multiple Pro Bowl receiver in Antonio Brown, it's as clutch a throw as you will ever see because that's ball game. That was going to slam the door on Bill Belichick. And he said, okay, if he lost the first one in the lights, I'm going right back to him, and I'm going to throw it a little lower, more on a line. I'm going to throw him a rocket, and I'm going to hit him right in the hands on the back line. You just have to snag it. If those catches get made, if the one penalty is not called, I thought it was just ticky-tack, but if it's not called, he's way over 300 yards, and he still had decent numbers, and he still had a better QBR than Mac Jones did, 55-46. And you said Brady got outplayed. No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. Skip, here's the thing, is that what you try to do, if you look at the Cowboys defense have yet to hold a quarterback under 300 yards passing. So let's disregard them. You talk about the Atlanta Falcons. Everybody throws for three. Jalen Hurts had 3 touchdowns and 300 yards. Tyler Heineke had 3 touchdowns and 300 yards. So what?
Anybody have 5?
Huh?
5?
Tyler Heineke.
Okay.
The guy that's only in his 3rd NFL start in his career did that.
Or Taylor. Either way.
Taylor Heineke, excuse me. I can't know. My bad.
Okay,
my bad.
He deserves to be called Tyler.
No, he doesn't. Yeah, you keep talking about it, but you're going to see him up close and personal. You're going to see him up close and personal. He's going to throw for 3 touchdowns against y'all.
Good.
But Skip, what you try to do is that when Tom Brady loses, you put it on when he dropped it. Skip, if I could go back and say, well, Matthew Stafford, and show you throws that he missed Sunday, if he makes this throw right here, they win the game, or he has 400-plus yards. You can't say that, but what you're doing is that the man fumbled the football, and you said that wasn't a turnover-worthy play. He throws a pick. Now, you can't get credit if it's catches it, it's a touchdown, but it goes the other way, an interception.
You told me the next day it's not a turnover-worthy play. You said that.
No. I said I don't have a problem with him throwing that.
Okay, then it's not turnover-worthy. It's a Hail Mary.
So why throw it?
Okay, wait a second. You could argue every Hail Mary is turnover-worthy.
Yes!
Because you have to risk throwing it up for grabs.
Thank you!
You were literally throwing it up for grabs, hoping that one of your guys wins a jump ball or a tip ball.
Thank you, Skip.
Okay, but it's not turnover-worthy by their grading system because they disqualify it because anybody who does that at the end of the half, you're off the hook.
Well, here's the thing, Skip. You do realize every time you put the ball up in the air is a turnover-worthy play because there's distance between where you're throwing the ball and where the guy's going to catch it. And there's normally defenders on the field. So theoretically, everything can be considered a turnover-worthy play.
Well, if I show you tape of Carson Wentz, he'll throw 6 or 8 a game that you'll say, oh, my God, because that should have been intercepted. That's called a turnover-worthy play.
Skip, there are times that plays should be intercepted. There have been times that plays should be caught. It's called football. But what they're trying to do, I just need to know what criteria, because I'm looking at Kyler Murray's stats. I'm looking at Matthew Stafford numbers. I'm looking at Patrick Mahomes. I mean, think about this. Patrick Mahomes has a bad game if he throws for 3 touchdowns, 360 yards, and a turnover. That's a bad game for Mahomes.
You want to talk about some turnover-worthy plays? Patrick Mahomes is the king of turnover-worthy. He gets away with it because of his arm talent and his moxie and the green light confidence that he gets from his head coach, who encourages him to throw it up for grabs.
Yes,
but he's started to throw them up for grabs, and the defense is catching him.
Okay.
We've seen that regularly over the last few games.
Guess what else he's throwing up for grabs? Touchdown passes, because he leads the NFL in touchdown passes.
Okay, good.
14.
Okay. I predicted before the year Brady is going to win MVP at age 44. And now that Pro Football Focus says Brady is comfortably the best graded quarterback in the NFL through the first 4 games, I would say he's off to the races to win MVP. And he had to work through the emotional roller coaster game that was going back to the house that he built, that he got kicked out of by daddy.
You would have never allowed LeBron James to use emotions going back to the game if he had lost to Cleveland. You would have never said, wait, the emotion was too big. You'd have said Michael Jordan. Tom Brady would have never allowed the emotion of the game to overcome them and play this bad. That's what you would have said, but excuse after excuse for Tom Brady. It's almost like if Tom Brady plays bad, let me try to find a reason why he played bad instead of saying, you know what, he just played bad. But you bring Bruce Arians, you say the defense, you'll say this and that. So Kyler Murray numbers is what they are. He's undefeated, and he beat the team bad. He beat the team badder that beat you bad in their building, something you could not do.
Who predicted that on this show?
So now
Who predicted it? I did. You scoffed. You laughed. Stop it.
Who predicted that?
You were riding the Rams. You were driving the Rams bandwagon. I said, Shannon, they're in trouble.
And guess why? And guess who predicted the Rams would beat the brakes off the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I predicted it. You said Tom Brady's going to get it. Matthew Stafford is not that guy. He's the same guy that was in Detroit. Who predicted it?
So yesterday, you blamed me for sort of starting and furthering the lie that LeBron James is not clutch. And yet every GM in basketball was asked for the annual GM poll to rate who do you want with the ball in their hands to take the last shot. And Kevin Durant was the runaway winner of the category, and LeBron got 0 votes. Okay. So 30 said no to LeBron, and it's my fault. Okay, so today you're saying I'm making excuses for Tom Brady and a respected website, Pro Football Focus.
Oh, they respected by who?
Well, they're by a lot of people.
About who?
They're becoming the Bible here.
Yeah, okay.
And they say that he's comfortably the best graded quarterback, and you're saying I'm making excuses. I didn't do this. They did this.
Just skip. But see, this is what you do. You don't mention I noticed you have yet to mention Tom Brady's QBR. When Tom Brady was number 1 in QBR for a number of weeks last week, you mentioned it every time. At 43, he's number 1 in QBR. You have yet to mention Q, B, or R. Like you don't even know a word that starts with Q, or B, or R.
I don't need it.
Why?
Because you just watch him play. Look at the numbers. I only give you the numbers. Game-winning drive against a Dallas Cowboy team that is way better than you thought.
Skip, their defense
you said the Dallas Cowboys were going to be the 3rd best team in the NFC East.
Let me ask you a question. The Dallas Cowboys defense is ranked. Their pass defense is atrocious. Their total yardage defense is atrocious.
They're 6th against the run. That's all you need to know.
Where's Tom Brady?
This time last year, they were 32nd against the run.
You do realize that the Buccaneers are one of the worst run teams in all of football.
By the end of the year last year, they were one of the better run teams in football with this very same 2 running backs.
They were middle of the pack. But anyway, to make a long story short, Skip, he's not playing better than Matthew Stafford. He's not playing better than Kyler Murray.
Look, I love Kyler Murray, but you realize they came home after a big win at Tennessee, which then ended up losing to the Jets. They came home, and it took a missed 37-yard field goal by the Minnesota Vikings kicker for them to survive a game in which Kirk Cousins outplayed Kyler in Phoenix.
It took, guess what? It took Tom Brady a missed field goal to survive a game in which Mac Jones just outplayed him Sunday night.
I gave you the QBR. You said I never used QBR. Brady, 55, Mac Jones, 46 in that game. Don't tell me that Tom got outplayed.
Okay.
I just showed you the evidence. I showed you the 5 drop. I showed you 5 passes that should have been a completion that would have gotten him to 350 yards and 2 touchdowns.
How about 2 touchdowns, to none? How about better completion percentage? How about more yards?
The best pass of the night was a trick play by the New England Patriots.
I don't get it all.
It was like the all-time dink and dunk night.
No, Skip.
Yeah, what did he complete? I told you the other day, he completed 9 more passes for a grand total of 6 more yards. That's the all-time shore fishing.
What about TDs? How many more TDs did he have than Brady?
Well, he had one. He hit Mike Evans right in the hands.
No, Skip.
Hit AB right in the hands on the back line. There are 2 right there.
No, it's not. So why didn't they have 2 touchdowns in Brady's column?
Drops.
Why didn't they have those 2 touchdowns in Brady's column?
Well, because they got dropped.
Because they weren't touchdowns.
Well, they were great throws.
I promise you, if you asked hold on. So why didn't the fans, why didn't the players vote Brady number 1 in the top 100?
Brady hate, jealousy, resentment.
At some point in time, Skip, you got to stop this. Because someone doesn't think Brady is depressed, that doesn't mean they're hating him.
I don't know. All I know is last year he took a 7-9 team to the championship. That's impossibly great. And now he's 44, and you have tried to retire him for 5 straight years on the show until this year when you finally said, I'll give him 1 more year.
Well, you know what? Trent Dilfer did the same thing. Trent Dilfer took an 8-8 team to a championship. And so how hard is it?
But did you say before that year Trent should go home? No, you didn't say that. You said we start 2016, first day of the show.
Nobody wanted Trent.
Okay. Well, how do we get Trent Dilfer in the same conversation?
Because
with
what
Tom
you're trying
Brady?
to do, because you're making it seem like nobody has ever done what Tom did, and I just told you Trent Dilfer did exactly what Tom Brady did.
He did what?
He led a team that was 8-8 that didn't make the playoff the year before and led them to a Super Bowl the following year.
It was the Baltimore Ravens featuring Ray Lewis and Shannon Sharpe.
So what about Tampa's defense? So Tampa's defense was some trash.
Well, it was the year before until the last 4 games. And then I warned you, the last 4 games, they started to come together. I told you that.
Oh!
Yeah.
So that was Tom Brady, right?
But what was Trent then, like 28?
No, Skip.
Stop it.
Stop using age. All I'm saying is that he has not played the best quarterback thus far. I'm not saying where he will end up. I'm saying through the quarter poll, the first 4 games, I can name 5 quarterbacks that's played better than Tom.
He's got you on the run again.
No, I'm good.
And he's going to rub it in again.
Yeah, we talk about a guy that beat Tom Brady.
Oh, good.
Let's talk about a guy that beat Tom Brady. Yeah. Beat the brakes off him, too.
We have different QBs to discuss right now, and that is because Thursday Night Football comes to Fox tonight. Matthew Stafford and the Rams travel to Seattle to take on Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. LA is coming off a rough loss to the division-leading Cardinals for their first defeat of the season. So, Shannon, will Matthew Stafford and the Rams bounce back in a win in Seattle?
He will. Yes. I think the Rams are a serious Super Bowl contender. They're one of the 3 or 4. They're one of the 3 best teams right now in the NFC. I still believe that, Skip. They had a bad game against Arizona. There's no question about that. Throws that Matthew Stafford had made in every game up until that point, he missed damn near every throw that he had an opportunity for Cooper Kupp. You talk about some missed throws. He missed a bunch of them. He had D-Jack early in the ball game that what should have been a 85-yard touchdown, and he underthrew him, and it ended up getting picked. He missed Cooper Kupp. Throw after throw after throw after throw. But that's neither here nor there. Now it's a short week going against another division rival. And so he knows what's at stake. I just believe that he's going to play a lot better. And the throws that he missed on Sunday, he will not miss those throws. I expect it to be a shootout because, and I've told you this, Skip, I think the Rams defense last year were better than they are this year. Those 2 guys that they ended up losing going to Cleveland, you look at the back end, that second corner opposite of J. Ram, they're picking on him. A.J. Green, everybody, that's where people are making their money. That's where they're bailing their hay at, is on his side of the field. Jalen Ramsey can't be at 2 places at one time. If he takes the best receiver, if he takes DK Metcalf, somebody's going to have to do something with Tyler Lockett. If he takes D-Hop, somebody's going to have to do with A.J. Green and Rondale Moore and the Christian Kirk. So he can't be all over the field. And so that's the problem that they're running into. They lost a corner and they lost a slot corner, which is coming back to hurt them. But I still believe that they'll get into a shootout. I believe it's going to be a shootout tonight, Skip. I'm hoping. I hadn't looked at the weather report. I don't think it's going to be inclement weather or anything, because you never know what you're going to get in Seattle, Skip. It might be sunny, and then next thing you know, you get mist in and you get rain, you get all that other stuff, and then all bets are off. But I expect them. Seattle has a last in total defense, 28th in pass D, and I think the Rams have one of the better passing attacks, and Sean McVay is going to bounce back, he and Matthew Stafford. So I'm expecting big things tonight, and they'll be right back on track.
So it's blowout, Rams blowout?
You put some dew on it, and I tell you.
Really?
Put some dew on it, and I tell you what it's going to be.
I'll take the points right now.
No, you ain't taking nothing. What you're going to do is take the 2 Ks of dew I got for you, Rams and Seattle straight up.
You just made a case that this is a steamroll.
No, Skip, I just said it's going to be a shootout.
Oh.
It's going to be a shootout.
Well, you just said they're going to win easily, though.
No, I didn't say they're going to be. I don't remember saying that, and I know I didn't say that. I said it's going to be.
You were making the case they're going to win this season.
No. I made a case that the Rams are going to win because I expect Matthew Stafford to play better than what he played on Sunday. But both teams' defense lately has been leaving a lot to be desired. Seattle's defense has been shaky all year long. At least the Rams have played some pretty good defense up until the last couple of weeks. I expect them to bounce back. I expect them to put pressure on Russell Wilson, and I expect them to win.
Well, the Rams have played pretty good defense until the last couple of weeks. We've only had 4 weeks, so they played 2 good weeks.
How many is a couple? So is a couple, is that 4 people?
Shannon Sharpe, I'm going to ask you the question of the moment, maybe the biggest question in the NFC.
What?
Are you sure Matthew Stafford is that guy? Because I'm not convinced.
He's that guy that beat the brakes off Tom Brady. He might not be the guy, but he was that guy.
Right place, right time. Played your Super Bowl that day.
It wasn't no Super Bowl.
Still underthrew D-Jack twice in that game.
Yes.
Finally hit him with a big one where the defense completely broke down. Mike Edwards bit and fell. He actually fell down. So Coach McYay could run all the way up the tunnel. We got this. We just won the Super Bowl. You played your Super Bowl. You won it. I give you credit for that. But unfortunately, it's not really the Super Bowl because it was only week 3.
That's how we approached it.
So I'm going to bring this up again, and we'll see a lot more tonight on the big solo stage on Thursday Night Football at Seattle. Tough place to play. Matthew knows it's a tough place to play. He's been in playoff games 3 times in his career, and he lost to the 3rd playoff game up there 26-6. Had a QBR of 44, not very good. Threw for 205 yards.
Well, you remember that
2016.
What was a Thursday night or Monday night game? They were going in for the win, and Cam Chancellor hit Megatron, and Megatron ended up fumbling the ball.
Okay. So he knows what it feels like. He's been there and done all that. So let's see what happens now that he and Coach McYay are on the solo stage on Thursday night.
That's what it should be.
And I remind you that the Rams went up there in the playoffs first round last year in the wild card, and guess who won the game? Jared Goff got thrown into the fire because that Walford kid who started the game got hurt. And Jared Goff had a pin in his throwing thumb and said, I got this. And didn't put up great numbers, but he put up better numbers than Russell Wilson did. And they won that game, which allowed them to advance to Lambeau, right? Okay, so you got that to shoot for. Can Matt Stafford go up there and win the way Jared Goff sucked it up and won?
But, Skip, you know, every game is a different game. Every year is different. You can't look back and say, well, they went there last year and won, so therefore they should automatically go back there this year and win. Football doesn't work like that.
Okay. I'm going to ask you again.
Yes.
Is he really that guy? Is he a Super Bowl caliber quarterback?
I believe he is.
I love Matthew Stafford. I've been around him enough off the field to know he's a really good guy. We belong to the same golf club, so I'm being like painfully objective here.
No, you ain't.
I'm just not sure he was ever that guy because in Detroit, they had some talent. He had the best receiver in pro football for 7 of his 9 years. And they went 74, 90, and 1. 90 losses, 74 wins, 90 losses, 1 tie.
You like the coaches? You like the coaches that he had?
I agree. It could
Other than Jim Caldwell.
That worked.
They fired the best coach they had in the last 20 years.
All right. 3 times he made the playoffs. He went 0-3 in those playoff games. You can argue he got robbed in Dallas, and it was a terrible call or non-call, a pulled call.
Yeah.
And he played pretty well in that game, but he had a QBR of 40 in that game at Dallas, just a little below average scale, 0 to 100. So you say I haven't been using QBR. I'm using it there.
Yeah, they showed that Matthew Stafford didn't play particularly well. I want you to use
below
Tom Brady.
Below average. So I ask you again, are you sure he's a godsend for the team that you're now driving the bandwagon of because you're worried that my Dallas Cowboys are going to rise to the top of the NFC? So you got to have somebody to hang your hat on. And the somebody so far has been the Rams until I told you, no, Kyler's going to go in there and win this game. And he did. So now, all of a sudden, the Rams are reeling. Now they've been exposed because their defense isn't as good as it was last year, because it can't be. When you take Troy Hill, one of the best slot corners, out, and John Johnson, one of the best safeties, out, and you give them to Cleveland, or you let them go to Cleveland.
Right.
You're going to have some problems.
Right.
So they're going to have some problems. They have the great Aaron Donald. I get that. Their front seven is very good. You could argue their front seven might be the best in pro football. But can they go up there and beat a Russell Wilson who finally found himself at San Francisco, and they found the way to the end zone? They went 4 for 4 in the red zone last week. And it was because Russell Wilson started playing his basic backyard football. Nobody can play
his improv is unbelievable.
It's the best. He just draws it up in the dirt, or maybe in the recesses of his own psyche. He's just sort of making it up as he goes.
Well, they forced him to do that with putting behind that bad offensive line. So he's like, I got to be able to do this in order for me to survive.
Okay. He does have two receivers that can hurt you.
Oh, yeah. Metcalf and
I believe there will be some damage done by those two receivers tonight. And they can run it pretty well. They got their 105.
But I think Carson is banged. I think Carson is banged up.
Okay, I think they still have enough weapons to win this game. So I am picking the Seahawks.
Well, good. So we got 2 cases.
So
on
we've got 2.5 points
we don't
given to the home team because they are a 2.5 point underdog. So I will take the 2.5 points for 2 cases.
I'll tell you what. Okay, this is what we'll do. Are you going to give me the 7.5 for the Giants on tomorrow?
No, I'm not.
Oh, well, okay then. Well, I'm not going to give you no 2.5 tonight.
I already told you the Giants it's a division rivalry that you got to be careful. I know, I got it. But the Giants really found themselves. We're going to talk about this in a little bit. I still fear the Giants. You have ridiculed the Giants and Joe Judge.
And rightfully so.
Okay, well, now you're not ridiculing, so I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to give you the points because I think it'll be a close game Sunday, but I think the Dallas Cowboys will win. I'll take it straight up.
Let me get this straight. You want me to go straight up with you, the Cowboys at home?
I got a deal for you. I'll go 2 cases tonight straight up on the Seahawks, but you got to go straight up on the Giants, 2 cases on Sunday.
No.
Why not?
Because, Skip, the Giants won 1 game, and it took them overtime to do that.
Seattle's won 2 games.
They only played 4.
Okay, well, the Giants have only played 4.
Okay, they won 1.
The Seahawks have won 1 more game than the Giants
in overtime.
Okay, so they won at New Orleans. That's a big deal. That's a quality win.
Really, Skip?
Right?
Really? We've seen New Orleans play.
I made my best deal. I gave it to you on a silver platter.
I don't want it.
The one tonight's a gift. I'm giving you a gift.
I don't want it.
Well, you love the Giants. You love Danny Dimes. You love Saquon.
I sure do.
Okay. Well, you can have it if you want it.
I don't.
Okay. It's sitting right in the middle of the table.
I'm going to let it sit right there.
I think I'll take a sip of it.
I'm going to let it sit right there. I mean, it's a decoration.
Breakfast of champions.
A decoration?
Yeah, it's a table setting.
Okay, well, if you change your mind, Shannon, I'm sure the offer will stand up.
No mercy.
So Anthony Davis scored 14 points for the Lakers yesterday, but the purple and gold still fell 117-105 in their preseason matchup with the Suns. Keep in mind, LeBron and Russell Westbrook didn't play for the second consecutive game, but new Lakers, Carmelo Anthony and Malik Monk combined for 26 points. So, it's preseason right now. But Shannon, even without LeBron or Russ, did you see the makings of a championship team?
Well, look, I think what we saw last night is a lot of guys that's going to play a supporting role that was in starring roles. And I think the thing is, for me, Skip, is that I want to see Russ and I want to see LeBron out there with AD and 2 other guys that I believe with this Malik Monk, Ellington, or whomever they're going to put out there. That's what I need to see, Skip. I mean, nobody showed up to see Genesis without Phil Collins and Peter Gabriel. Nobody.
Genesis?
Yeah, I go back. Yeah, I go back. Yes.
How do you know Genesis?
Because I know Genesis. I know. I'm music. My taste. I keep telling you, Skip.
Hall & Oates and Genesis?
Yeah. Skip, the Beatles. Who showed up to watch the Beatles without John Lennon and Paul McCartney?
Well, obviously.
Okay, then.
That's half that's actually 9/10 of what they were.
Okay, so you missing 2/3. The big 3. There's a big 3 ADs out there. I like what I saw with Malik Monk. I like what I saw with THT. Even Hillbilly Kobe gave me some good solid minutes. Yeah, you like Hillbilly Kobe. That's what he said they call it. That's his nickname. So I'm going to ride with it. It sounds good to me, Skip. Look, once we get back, and I don't know if they're going to play. I think they play again. They play the Warriors on Friday night, Skip, tomorrow night.
And I assume LeBron and
at some point,
Russ are going to play.
Skip, at some point in time, I don't think I have to play the preseason. At some point,
they will.
Okay, and so I want to see LeBron, AD, and Russ, and be it Malik Monk, be it Wayne Ellington, or someone, go out there and to give me an indication of what I should expect. Now, I know what I'm going to get from LeBron. I just want to see how it meshes with LeBron, AD, and Russ. That's the key. Yep. To say, well, you saw AD looked bigger, Skip. AD, like he put on like 10, 15 pounds. He looks bigger to me.
I did not see that.
Yeah, he looks bigger, Skip. If you put a photo of him last year and what he looks like this year, he looks bigger.
They said he beefed up.
Melo, I like what I saw with Melo. I just hope they don't get this, Melo started. Now, obviously, LeBron's out. Melo played about 24 minutes last year coming off the bench. Let's keep Melo in the role that he's played, and he's played well the last couple of years. Let's keep him like that. Let's keep him coming off the bench, giving us some offense off the bench. Let's do that. But I like what I saw, Skip. I still need to see the other two of the big three as a part of this thing to get a clear picture of, but I still it's going to take it's a work in progress, Skip. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. This is not a natural fit. Russ, LeBron, and AD. But if anybody can make this jacket fit, LeBron James can do it.
Okay. I'll start with Carmelo Anthony, who played his first game as a Laker, where you got to see him in the jersey, in the uniform, and he looked good in the uniform. I'll give you that. Could we see the first couple of jumpers that he made?
Right.
Because he did have the guts to say, I got this. This is the one off the right side. Not bad. Not bad.
That's Melo. That's his shot.
That's Melo. And then here's the one on the left side, a little fall away.
That's him.
Not bad.
That's Melo, yeah.
The only thing that concerns me about the aging Melo is he has to labor a little bit to put the jump shot. It's a little harder for him to rise and stay risen before he releases. But I do think his body looks pretty good. I think he sort of saw the light that if he wants to stay in this league, as obviously he's in LeBron's draft class, that you have to do more of what LeBron does in the offseason, which is stay fit. And he looked like he was fit enough to play 17 minutes yesterday and looked pretty good at it. He was not huffing and puffing. Then I look at the rest of the Lake show yesterday, and it was new face after new face after new face.
Correct.
You have so many new players, a lot of strange new faces that are jarring to me. And I'm going to say it one more time. DeAndre Jordan's he's just done. He's not who he used to be. And there's a reason he fell completely out of the rotation for the Brooklyn Nets. And then they just said, we just don't want you anymore, because those guys love him. Kevin Durant loves DeAndre Jordan.
That was the only reason he was in Brooklyn, because of KD and Kyrie.
Thank you. And he's a strong voice in the locker room. And finally, I don't know if it's Sean Marks or Steve Nash or somebody just said, guys, we just can't do this anymore with him. We can do better than DeAndre.
Right.
And then you guys jumped on him like you need him as your whatever you want to call him, back up to the backup. Does he really belong on the team? I'm just not sure, because he was laboring to me, and he just doesn't look right in purple and gold. That's just me. He was a Clipper, like
Clippers shouldn't be allowed to wear purple and gold.
You could argue that, which is why we're not doing the topic today. But Montrezl Harrell blasted the Lakers for not utilizing him correctly last year. He said it felt like I had a whole year off last year. Well, I warned you about that, because he was a dissenter in the locker room. He tore that locker room apart the year before. Well, that's just who he is. So you can say good riddance there. Okay, so now we look at all these new faces, the Kendrick Nuns and the Wayne Ellingtons and the Kent Bazemores and the Malik Monk. Malik Monk has had a hot hand so far, but I warn you that 2 years ago he shot 28% from three. So he's all-time hot, cold. So I don't know if you can count on him.
I'm counting on him.
Are you?
Shoot at least 35%, probably 38 to 40.
Well, you want to bet on that?
I bet he shoot at least 38%.
38?
Yeah.
I'll go 39%.
No,
for
38.
Cases.
I already gave 38 for two cases now.
I'll think about that.
Okay.
And my man Austin Reeves out of the University of Oklahoma, they're trying to make the new Alex Caruso.
Yeah,
right?
hillbilly Kobe.
I just don't know about him. He's from Arkansas originally.
Yeah.
And I just don't. I'm not sure he's Caruso because Caruso's pretty.
Even from Oklahoma. You should be. That's your homeboy.
I mean, he went to the university. He started at Wichita State, and then he went to OU.
Yeah.
But he's from Arkansas, and both his parents played at Arkansas State. So he's got some genetic
right.
pluses.
He's got athletic background.
He's got some athletic background, and he's pretty good. But Alex Caruso's like special. Like he's like weirdly special. I don't know how he does it.
He's doing it up already in Chicago.
No, but he's actually, dare I say, a talent.
Yeah.
And LeBron loved co-starring with him down the stretch. He became not the closer, but he was in the closing lineup, right? Well, I don't know that Austin Reeves is going to be that guy. He can shoot it, and he's got good basketball IQ, but I just don't know. And then you've lost Trevor Ariza for a while because his ankle got so bad, they needed to go ahead and surgically clean it out.
Right.
Debridement, as they call it. So there you go. You've lost him. So it's going to be the all-time chemistry experiment for Professor James.
Right.
And I just don't know if even he can figure this one out before April, because you got to figure it out before April because you need it to start going in the right direction when it's time to go.
But here's the thing, Skip. Look, the right seamstress can make anything fit. So LeBron James is the man that I expect to be able to take this jacket apart.
So now he's a seamstress.
And put it back together and give you the perfect fit. That's what really good. I don't care who the name brand, but without the right fine tailoring, that thing ain't gonna hug like it's supposed to.
Nope.
LeBron James can take, you see this roster, and you listen to all these names. Watch LeBron James, how he deconstruct this jacket, which means he's going to take it apart.
He's going
to put it back together and everything line up.
What you fail to mention is that into this new chemistry experiment, you are throwing the grenade that is Russell Westbrook. That's the problem. He blows it all up. I like all the misfit pieces. They don't all fit together. But if you throw number 0 into the equation, it's exploding. It's going sideways. It's going every which way but toward April, and I don't think Professor James can correct that.
He can, because here's the thing, Skip. Sometimes it's called abstract. You have to look at it a different way. See, you look at this as a face man. I use it as a blindfold. You see what I did right there? That's what I do. That's how LeBron James can do things. You look at something and that's all you see. LeBron looks at something and is like, okay, I can make something totally different out of this.
Sometimes I think you're wearing your blindfold while you're watching games because I don't think you see what's happening in the games.
I hope LeBron plays against the Warriors on Friday night.
He will.
And get a little sample. That's just a little sample.
Okay.
Because that's what we do. That's what we do. We drop a little track, we give you a 30-second snippet, and you know it's going to be fire.
I'm just hoping number 0 plays against the Warriors on Friday night, because then we get to see what we see.
That's what I want. I want all three of the big three to play.
Okay, number 0, as in 0 rings, is the new starting point guard. That's what they tell us. He's going to dribble the ball up the floor and make the first choice every time down.
Exactly.
You trust that?
Yeah, I do.
You do not
I trust it.
Well, you already said it's not a natural fit.
It's not a natural fit, Skip. It's not a natural fit. But some of the best collabs haven't been what we thought was a natural fit, and they work.
Well,
Did you actually think?
What?
Did you think Tony Bennett and Lady Gaga would be a great fit?
I don't know.
Exactly, you didn't. Now look at that.
I didn't care.
Yeah, I do. That's what I'm saying. Some of the greatest collabs haven't been like, Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Man, I was like, whoa.
Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson. Best fit? Ebony and Ivory.
Yeah,
right?
see?
Okay.
Okay,
Is that what we got going
That's
here?
what we got going. We're going to make it fit. We're going to make it work.
Listen, you're up against the all-time solo act, and you've given him the keys to the kingdom. You're the point guard. LeBron says we need Russ to be Russ.
Needed to be Russ. Needed to be Russ. Push the pace. We're going to push the pace. LeBron going to be running the lane. AD filling the lane.
You'll push the pace right out of bounds. He will lead the league in turnovers once again.
No, he won't. No, he won't.
Yeah.
No, he won't. No, he won't. No, he won't.
He's going to drive LeBron James out of his mind.
Brian knew from playing against Russell all these years, he knew what he's getting into.
He knew if he could win with Russ, that it would be the ultimate feather in GOAT cap, right? That would actually elevate you into the GOAT conversation.
What you mean in the conversation? We already there.
No, you're not there.
I mean, they don't need to add no more books to the Bible. It's 66 of them in there. So we good. We already, the GOAT conversation, we can't do anything to add us.
Really?
We there.
So you're already the Bible?
We there.
Really?
The books of the Bible is what they are.
King James version, right? I get it.
All I'm saying is that there are the books in the Bible that are already there. They're not going to add anymore. So the conversation about GOAT, we're already in it. I believe we are the GOAT. But people like you, I'll let you say we're in the discussion.
Okay.
But we are the discussion, not in the discussion.
If you win this year's championship, in spite of Russell Westbrook, you join the conversation.
Yeah, you don't join no conversation. Stop saying that.
You're no longer the phony GOAT. I would at least give you GOAT conversation status. That's all you get. That would be pretty cool for you. That would be your ultimate achievement. But you know what's built in? The ultimate excuse is built in because the GOAT, quote unquote, needs a scapegoat. Well, he's got the ultimate scapegoat in number 0 rings.
I just do like you do.
Ultimate.
When Brady lose Super Bowls or lose games, you blame the head coach. You blame the head coach. Super Bowls. Nick Foles. Who did you blame? Coach Belichick.
Well, he gave up 41 points to the Eagles' backup quarterback.
Well, Tom Brady was allowed to score 42.
In the first Eli Super Bowl, Brady goes down there and scores with 2 minutes left to give him a 14-10 lead, and all of a sudden Belichick lets Eli go 75 yards.
You mean to tell me that man could only get you 14 points?
Well, that would have stood up for the championship. If all you got to do is stop Eli.
Coach Belichick looked at him coming out the field. After all that, you've been out here for all this time, 4 quarters, and all you gave me was 14?
And it was enough.
No, it wasn't.
Got the lead with 2 minutes left.
17. Little Eli beat him. Eli done beat him twice, spanked him twice. And Nicky Foles. And he didn't shake either one of those guys' hand. But look what he did on Sunday night. He ran across the field in a deluge to shake Mac Jones' hand because he beat him. Now, if Mac had to put that thing on him, I guarantee you he wouldn't have saw him.
I would agree. Show me a good loser, I'll show you a loser.
No.
How are you guys feeling? We're 12 days away right now from the NBA getting started. I'm excited for all this. Yeah,
we're
here. Close. We're counting down at this point.
No mercy.
Don't miss your chance to win $25,000 of Terry Bradshaw's money on the Fox Bet Super 6 app, where players have won over $5 million already. So scan the QR code, download the app, answer 6 questions about tonight's Rams-Seahawks game for your shot to be the next jackpot winner. It is completely free to play. Best of luck. Win some money. The heavyweight champion, will be crowned when Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder go toe-to-toe in a third fight this weekend on Fox Sports pay-per-view. Wilder won the first fight by split decision, while Fury left no doubt in the second fight with TKO victory. Heading into the third installment here, the British boxer's trainer said Fury will have an edge because he'll be heavier than last time by 20 pounds or so. Wow. Shannon, will the extra weight be a plus or a minus for Fury?
Skip, it's got to be a minus, right? I mean, the guy came in the fight. And
20 pounds is a lot of weight.
It's a lot of weight considering he's already 270, 275. So you're going to bring him in the ring at 20 pounds heavier, so basically almost 300 pounds. Now, Skip, granted, he could carry it. He's a huge man. He's 6'9". He's extremely skilled. So he says he wants more power, but he had plenty enough power at 275. Maybe he wants to lean on him. Maybe he wants to tire him out because, you leaning on the guy has to carry his weight, have to carry you around. But I thought because he fought so well the second time around, Skip, that was a perfect weight because we had never seen him look that good before in his life. He looked great. He boxed great. He's immensely talented.
That's a good word. He's immensely talented because he's immense.
And he can neutralize whatever Wilder comes at him with.
Yep.
Hopefully Wilder is better prepared, but Wilder's a knockout guy. He's looking to land that one thing. He's not looking to put punches together. He's looking to jab and hit you with the overhand. But he has knockout power with both hands, Skip.
He does.
But I just don't. I don't get it. Now maybe Sugar knows something that I don't. His trainer.
Sugar Hill
came out of the Manny Stewart stable.
Well, he's the nephew of the great Emmanuel Stewart. Yep.
So for me, Skip, they might know something that I don't. But I just don't. A man coming in and having to fight, 12 3-minute rounds. Now maybe they expecting to get him out of there a lot sooner than that.
Yep.
But 300 pounds. Skip, I believe you're asking an awful lot. I don't think he needed the extra power. I thought he had plenty enough power, and he toyed with Wilder the second time around. He made it look easy. I never thought it was. I expected him to win because of his talent, but I didn't expect him to make it look that easy in winning. But Skip, I'm going to have to see this. This is a fight that I want to see. I mean, you get two guys that deserve to be in the ring with each other. But I don't know coming into the ring at 295, damn near 300 pounds, Skip. That's asking an awful lot.
Mr. Sharpe, I cannot agree with you more on everything you just said, and I'm going to go times 2. I'm now giving Mr. Wilder a shot in this fight.
Okay.
If this is true, that he's plus 20, for those, just pick up 20 pounds sometimes.
Right.
Okay, it's a lot of new weight.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Skip, get a 20-pound vest and you walk around with it at your weight.
Well, Deontay Wilder wore that
40 pound,
whatever, it's
that
wore him
panther.
out, right? He says he can wear a new costume, but it's going to be lightweight.
Well,
okay.
How about just come out like Mike Tyson with just a towel on?
Okay, to your point, what happened in the last time that we saw them fight? Tyson Fury was the bigger, better boxer.
Right.
It's as simple as that. Bigger, better boxer.
Correct.
He was too big and too skilled.
Right.
For a smaller Deontay Wilder. Like Wilder's almost like a light heavy. I mean, he's getting closer to light heavy.
Right. Was he 220?
Somewhere in there, yeah. But the point is, he was just outsized and outskilled, which is a literally lethal combination.
Correct.
And he fired his assistant trainer, Mark Breland, for throwing in the towel. I thought he deserved to finish that round at least, but Breland just said, no, I can't watch this anymore because you're going to get hurt.
Correct.
Like bad hurt.
Right.
Like lethally hurt.
And Mark Breland was a great fighter in his own right.
He was a great fighter, and he got fired over throwing in the towel. I think it's because it hurt Deontay's
It hurt his pride. Yeah. Don't throw in the towel.
Okay. So now, all of a sudden, Sugar Hill is saying, hey, he's saying, heavier than last time by 20 pounds, and why not? The bigger, the better. Wrong. There's a point of no return, because at some point, he's saying he's putting on muscle weight. I don't know about that.
I mean, you didn't see no muscle to begin with.
I didn't see it. I'm sorry, I did not see it. No. So you're saying, well, we're not going to quite be 300. You were 270. If you're 290-ish, there's going to be a point of no return. You're going to lose some stamina in this fight.
Correct.
Boxing is hard.
Skip, let me ask you a question. If he cut at the weigh-in, if he's 290, what happens when he refuses? He puts that water back into his system. He put food back into his system. He's going to be 300.
He will. But I don't. They don't care about weight, so I don't know how much he's tried to cut. I don't know that he's tried to cut anyway.
If he coming in 20 pounds heavier, Skip, he ain't cutting no weight.
Okay, what do we know about this third fight? We know that Tyson Fury did not want the third fight and tried to get out of the third fight because he wanted Joshua. Obviously. And
that took a substantial hit.
That took a huge hit. But it took an independent arbitrator to rule that Wilder was owed contractually this fight.
Right.
So what does that indicate to you? Tyson Fury didn't care about this fight.
Right.
He's being forced to fight a guy that he already dominated. He toyed with him.
Right.
And he's like, what do I need this for?
Right.
So how do you get up for it? You don't.
Right.
You eat.
Right.
You get a little out of training. You get a little bit out of sorts.
And you're still on the celebration circuit, Skip.
You are.
You still making the rounds like, hey, I'm the heavyweight champ of the world. And, Skip, that would have been a big fight. You get two Brits, you got two guys from overseas fighting in probably Wembley Stadium. You could probably have 80,000. That was going to be a big payday.
Much bigger there than here. It would be pretty big here. It'd be,
it'd be enormous.
It would be a spectacle.
They got to fight over there. If he were to fight Joshua, they got to fight over there, Skip.
Oh, okay. So now I am leaning toward Wilder's got a real shot here.
Of course he does.
I did not love it that he's now accusing Tyson Fury of putting foreign objects in his gloves for the last fight, as in metal or iron.
Well, Skip, you seen your guy over there to watch him get his hands taped.
Out of your stables, and that guy's still employed by Deontay Wilder.
Yeah.
He went and checked out the gloves, so why didn't you fire him?
Yeah.
Well, you kept him.
Exactly.
So this seemed to really irritate Tyson Fury, but it's too late to train harder for this fight. The fight is upon us.
Right.
But his quote yesterday, and you can say it's just pre-fight hype, I don't think it came off that way. He said to Wilder at the press conference, I don't fear you because you're a lying little insecure piece of you-know-what. Mm-hmm. You're getting knocked the F out. Right. So now he's angry that he accused him of nefarious deeds of putting, wearing brass knucks.
Skip now, Fury, his talk game, He got a good talk game. He go fishing. He kept, because Wilder was doing a great job. He wasn't saying anything, but he kept casting his line. He kept trying. Oh, I'm going to get him. Oh, he's sitting over there nice and quiet, his nice jump sweatsuit on. Yep. He good. Oh, I'm going to keep going. And he knew eventually, sooner or later, Skip, he just couldn't resist. And once a guy that talks gets a guy that doesn't want to talk, well, it's over. Now Fury he just I'm gonna punish you. I'm gonna knock you out. I'm gonna do all these.
He's actually got some Conor McGregor showmanship.
And Skip, because of the accent, I'm dying. I'm rolling. I'm like
okay, good. Is he really taking it that seriously? I doubt it. And one thing we know Mr. Wilder can do, he can punch.
Oh yeah, he got one punch knockout power. Yeah.
Well, he got him in the first fight and dropped him, and he had to, levitate. He was like Lazarus rising.
And he came out like that, Undertaker. No, Undertaker sat up in the ring.
No, he was.
And that's how he sat up.
What?
How?
Okay. I, for one, I would love to see Wilder just knock him out. It would be a pleasure to watch after the beating that he took. Yeah. And the that he took after that fight. Right. I would just love to see him just suddenly take him by storm.
Right. I mean, Skip, it's just that Fury is so talented now. How much of impact is the excess weight going to have? Because as far as just skills.
No.
Fury is the more skilled fighter.
It's not even close.
And he can neutralize. He did a great job of neutralizing, knowing that he was looking for the right, and he just kept jabbing him, and then.
I just know this about the sport of boxing. I boxed some in high school. It's
hard.
I mean, your arms, you feel like they weigh 100 pounds.
They feel like 20 pounds.
They do. they do. So if you're not in peak shape.
Yes.
And you get in a battle.
Ain't no time to skip. Ain't no, you playing football, you playing a sport, you raise your hands, they give you a break, and they put somebody else in there for you. Ain't nobody else coming in there for you.
No.
And that's 3 minutes.
You can't tap out.
Yeah, man. Hey. And that's when you're susceptible to getting knocked out, Skip. When you get tired, all of a sudden that jaw starts to hang, you're not biting on that mouthpiece, and boom. 20 pounds, Skip. I mean, I thought Skip, he was perfect the last fight.
He was.
It's a lot of weight. I can't even imagine.
Yes.
This will be interesting.
Maybe they know something we don't, Skip.
See how it plays out. Yeah, we will be watching, guys.
No mercy.
72% of NBA GMs and the majority of bettors think the Nets are favorites to win the NBA title this year, even with the uncertainty surrounding Kyrie Irving's availability for home games. Kevin Durant spoke optimistically about his teammate's situation yesterday, saying, "I'm envisioning Kyrie being a part of our team. Maybe I'm just naive, but that is just how I feel right now." Now joined by First Things First co-host Chris Broussard. Chris, in your opinion, how does this play out?
Well, Jen, as you know, predicting what Kyrie Irving's going to do is dangerous territory. All right? So, but if you force me to pick an answer, I believe ultimately he'll get the vaccination. For the same reasons that Andrew Wiggins got it. Because at the end of the day, your back is against the wall, and if you want to play basketball, more than half the season, if you want to get that $16 million out of your full $35 million contract, then you're going to play. So I think that's what will happen. I have been told, talking to some people, that Kyrie's given the Nets indications, reason to believe, not a definitive answer, but indications and reasons for them to believe in the past week or so that he would get vaccinated, and they're a little, baffled that he's not vaccinated yet. So they don't know what he's going to do. Again, educated guess from just talking with people around the league. This is not a report. I think if he doesn't get vaccinated, I feel like they're going to start the season with him playing road games in the hopes that eventually and fairly soon he would go ahead and get vaccinated. Now, what would I do if I'm the Nets and he doesn't get vaccinated? My number one option would be to trade him for Ben Simmons to Philadelphia. And Ben Simmons is Seth Curry, because I want some shooting back since you're getting Kyrie Irving. It's my problem for your problem. I think it potentially could make each team better. And you don't want to make Philly better, but it is what it is. If for some reason Kyrie threatening to retire or whatever it might be, you can't make a trade, then I sit down with Kyrie and I tell him, we're going to give you a COVID exemption. As the Nets, we're giving you a COVID exemption. So can't play home games. Don't play road games either. Just stay away from the team because that's the only way he won't be a distraction. If he plays road games, every game, literally, it's going to be questions about, wow, they're on the road for 3 games. Isn't it great to have Kyrie? How much different is it with Kyrie? Man, the offense looks smooth. Then he's not there for a home game. Would you have won this game, you think, if Kyrie had been? It's just, it would never end.
Yep.
And so I would give him a COVID, just stay away, and it lasts until either you get vaccinated, until New York changes its law, or your contract ends at the end of the season. Because Skip and Shannon, I don't think that as good as the Nets are, I don't think you can win a championship with Kyrie bouncing in and out of the lineup, especially in the playoffs. You need chemistry, you need continuity, you need roles defined, rotations defined, and that's impossible with him popping in and out of the lineup. We saw a few years ago with the Clippers, remember? When Kawhi was out for load management. It caused problems in the locker room with morale, and they just didn't have the chemistry. And we saw in the playoffs, it came back to bite them. So I would try to do that. And I feel like, guys, the Nets can win a championship with or without Kyrie. They might not be as much of a favorite without him, but I think Harden and Durant and a nice cast of role players could win the championship. Because their best unit, it was a small sample size, but when it was just Harden and KD last year, they outscored teams by plus 15. When it was all 3 of them, another small sample size, they outscored them by less than 9 points a game. Kyrie, as great as he is, and I might be in the minority in saying I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, he doesn't have a huge impact on winning. He's clutch. But look at Boston or the Nets in his first year there when he played 20 games. They were 8-12 with him, 27-25 without him and made the playoffs. Go to Boston without him. They pushed LeBron to 7 games in Eastern Conference Finals without him. With him, they go out meekly in 5 games to the Bucks in the second round. So I think they could win it without Kyrie. So if I'm the Nets, I'm getting rid of the distraction. If I can't trade you, don't play all season until you get vaccinated.
Before you go, Shannon,
Great.
Are you talking about a paid COVID, what'd you call it?
Exemption.
Exemption,
COVID
exemption.
Paid or unpaid?
I think it would have to be paid.
All right,
I hate to say it, but
what you man?
No, he wouldn't get paid for home games, but because he's unavailable. But for road games, I probably would have to pay him, which I wouldn't want to. But I can't have him popping in and out of the lineup. Regular season, it'd be fine. They're going to be great in the regular season, but in the playoffs?
No. First of all, it's already hard to trust him because you never know when he wakes up one morning and says, you know what, I'm not going to practice. I'm going to take me a week off for whatever reason, for whatever the case may be. Because we've seen this before. We've seen him last year take off, not tell the team, not tell the management, not tell anybody anything. They're asking them questions, where's Kyrie? Well, I don't know. So, first of all, my grandmother always said, boy, you never reward negative behavior. The moment a child starts to act bad and you give them a treat, what have you reinforced? That negative behavior. Kyrie Irving, if he's not going to get vaccinated, I'm going to say, Kyrie, look, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do this. This is not your team. We appreciate you coming here and making us viable, getting KD to join you. But if you do not have the vaccine by this day, we are going to move on without you. We are going to trade you. That's what I'm going to do. Because I agree with you.
But what if you can't? What if you can't? Because another team, do they want those problems?
Yeah, they want them. Philly will take him. Philly will take him straight up for Ben Simmons.
Okay, I'm with you there. But I don't think he's going to be easy to trade other than maybe Ben Simmons.
Yeah, I traded for Ben Simmons. Because the thing is, for all the reasons that you mentioned, Chris, every game, guess what they're going to ask KD? Not KD had 40 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists, and James Harden had a 30-point triple-double. Kyrie, You think Kyrie's going to get the vaccine? Have you talked to Kyrie about getting the vaccines? Do you understand? You guys got a chance to do something really special if you had Kyrie, man. And I'm telling you, at some point in time, if the relationship is sour, you get tired of people asking you about the other party, Skip. Well, I told you we not together. Now stop asking me about it. And that's how this situation is going to get with Kyrie, Skip. They're going to get tired of getting asked questions about it.
Yep.
And the Nets are going to have to make a decision. But if I'm the Nets, if he doesn't get vaccinated by this certain day, I got to move on.
All right, Chris, back to you. I'm going to ask you another dangerous Kyrie question because it's just impossible to answer. But you know New Jersey because you live in New Jersey. I'm not exactly sure where Kyrie's hometown is. How close is it to Philly? Is it closer to Philly than it is to New York?
Kyrie lives right next to me. That's very town over. It's the same general neighborhood.
Okay.
He is about an hour and a half from Philly.
Okay.
About an hour and a half, hour 40, something like that.
And from Brooklyn, from that hometown, would be an hour, maybe?
Traffic in New York.
Okay.
Yeah, give or take, it's at least an hour.
Okay, I got it. So do you think that Kyrie would be willing to play in Philly for the Sixers?
See, I don't think Kyrie wants to be traded. We know why he came to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
He lives literally in the same town, like his old neighborhood. He loves being at home.
Yep.
I don't think he wants to be traded. And there's talk. Nick Wright, my partner on FS1, has said he's been told that Kyrie's put it out there that he'll retire if he is traded.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying that's my plan A if he's unvaccinated, but I need a plan B if he's scaring teams off with that.
Okay. Now, back to the first thing that you said, that you've been told that he's sort of leaning at least toward getting vaccinated sooner than later, but the Nets are saying, well, when sooner?
Exactly.
Okay. And the Durant quote yesterday was, I'm envisioning, and I told Shannon, it's like you're fantasizing, you're dreaming, you're hoping God is good and that Kyrie decides finally to join your basketball team. Well, in that relationship, Kevin has always been more follower than leader. The leader of those two is Kyrie. So it scared me that Kevin seems not to know. And his next quote was, maybe I'm just being naive, but that's just how I feel. Well, you should know. If anybody knows his stance and how hardline it is, it would be Kevin. And it sounds pretty hard, like dug in right now. So we know that Woj and Windhorst at ESPN are saying hope is waning right now among Nets brass that he's going to get vaccinated. And as much as I love Kyrie as a basketball player and I like the Nets' chances, I know what you said about the stats, Chris, but I would like him a lot more with Kyrie than without Kyrie.
Sure.
I'm sorry, he's just too great.
I'm there.
Yeah, and I understand those numbers that you threw out, and they give me hope that the team could, because I want to see the Nets and the Lakers.
Right.
Well, we just had the annual NBA GM poll, and on who's the best team, 77% of the vote went to the Nets, and only 17% went to the Lakers. Well, that's obviously assuming that Kyrie is going to be in that.
Correct.
So I don't love their chances without Kyrie. It's such a distraction. It could rip the locker room apart. It just takes the heart out of the team. And I lose faith in Kyrie, and I lose respect for him because it's clear to me he just doesn't love basketball. He doesn't love winning more than he loves his new path in life, which is he wants to be a visionary. He wants to be a truth teller. He wants to be able to prove that the earth is flat or the Illuminati rule the world or that the COVID vaccine is a government plot. And I'm more power to him.
Right.
But this is a we sport that you play in. It's not a me sport. He says, I'm an artist. Well, Shannon and I discussed earlier, you're not a painter, you're not a sculptor, you're not an actor. Your artistry can only be displayed with the help of a team concept.
Right.
You need 4 other guys around you on the floor. And this whole COVID issue is a we, not a me issue.
He could be an artist if he's a tennis player.
Yeah,
because he's by himself. Or he could be a golfer.
I'll give you that.
And certain states have certain cities where the golf tournament has a mandate. Well, I'm not getting vaccinated. I'm just not going to go there and play that tournament.
Okay.
But it doesn't work. Skip,
you can't go play basketball by yourself.
You got 41 home games, Chris, and plus practice. They would literally have to move practice somewhere else just to accommodate him. Get all this stuff and move it.
Nash said they won't.
Right, nor should they.
Nash said they won't, which I respect. Right. That's the thing. We're talking about games. I hate to sound like Allen Iverson. What about practice? I mean, he's not going to practice.
Nope.
Like, how in the world are you going to develop some chemistry when he only practices occasionally on the road, when you're on a road trip, or playing in road games?
That's going to get old.
Look, I think quickly Kyrie, and a lot of young people go through this. Kyrie is trying to find himself.
Yeah.
But the difference is he's got to find himself in the midst of this fishbowl because he's a famous athlete. And he's got these demands on him that your average Joe out there finding himself doesn't have. But he got to wake up and realize he's got responsibilities that come with his position. So I just hope he gets vaccinated like you guys. But we'll see. I think, Skip, that's why the Nets are losing hope because they thought, okay, he's giving indications and it hadn't happened yet. So I think that's why.
Self isn't something you find, Chris. Self is something you create. What is he trying to create here?
Yeah, and we are getting closer and closer to the regular season.
Oh, my bad. You know, I'll be on
like Confucius.
Sorry, do you want to say that again, Shannon? I kind of interrupted your moment.
That's out of my league, man.
I was like, all right, on that note, we're wrapping things up. Chris, we appreciate you joining us with your busy schedule. We'll check in very soon.
No mercy.
Riding to the tune of a 3-game winning streak, the Cowboys are brimming with confidence. Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott will look to impose their will against the Giants this weekend, who won their first game against the Saints in overtime. And according to Fox Bet Sportsbook, the Cowboys are right now 7-point favorites over New York. So, Shannon, should Dallas be favored by a touchdown against their rival here?
I do believe they should, Skip. Given that the Giants are 1-3, the Cowboys are 3-1, and the game is in Dallas, and Dallas has been playing well. I will concede that, although against some bad teams, so I don't really know how good they are.
Well, then don't concede.
They did beat, but I did give you credit on this one. They did beat a very quality team in the Chargers. That is their best win, and you know it. But anyway, look, the Giants lost 2 games on last-second field goals that they really should have won. Dexter Lawrence jumping offside. They had the game won.
They had it.
And then they they had a lead against the Falcons, and they let the Falcons come back and kick a walk-off field goal.
Agreed.
They played a lot better last week. The only thing Daniel Jones has to avoid is the turnover. That is what's plagued him since he's been in the league. Now, he hasn't thrown the interception, but he's fumbled the ball. Last week, he took care of the football, threw for over 400 yards.
He did.
If I'm not mistaken, he was NFC Offensive Player of the Week.
Yep.
Played very well. Got the ball, drove down the field. They won it in overtime. Didn't let the New Orleans Saints touch the football. Saquon is starting to look like Saquon. It seems to me he's starting to get confidence back in that knee. Like, you know what?
Yep.
I'm all right. And I'm Saquon Barkley. At one point in time, I was the best running back in the game. Let me get back to that. So I like what I'm seeing. Kadarius Toney missed all of the preseason, Skip. Played well. He's starting to play better. So I like this. It's just going to be, what am I going to get defensively? Because Dallas is going to try to run the football. They're going to try to, play action pass you. Can they shut off the run and make Dak throw the football? You like it when they run more than they pass.
I do.
You like it when Dak's not having to throw the ball 38, 40, 50 times in a ball game. You like that. The Giants need to like that also. So they're going to need to shut off the run. But I do believe Dallas should be favored because I've seen the Giants play. They played really good last week. But I haven't seen them put together a stretch of games in which they played well. And so I'm going to need to see that.
So you're almost back on the Giants bandwagon, correct?
I'd be on anybody's bandwagon. I got 3 rides.
Yeah.
I got Uber, Lyft, and I got a shuttle service.
The shuttle service.
Yeah, so anytime I need somebody.
The Eagles are a shuttle service, right? Okay.
They are. Yeah,
they're a
bad
shuttle
right
service to the airport.
Yep.
Because they're going home, right? Okay. All right. I'm going to demonstrate how the New York Football Giants found themselves in the fourth quarter at New Orleans, which I don't think is an easy place to win a football game, even though Jameis is now the quarterback and it's not Drew Brees. Sean Payton's still at the helm, and I think their defense is still very good. So the Giants are down 11 in the fourth quarter on Sunday, and I pretty much I flipped over to them a couple times, and then I wrote them completely off.
I did the
because
exact
I thought
same
it
thing.
was done deal.
Right.
And all of a sudden, if we could see the first play, it's 54 yards to Saquon with 6:52 left in the game. And it gets them, it cuts the lead to 3. Okay.
What is Marcus Latimer looking at?
I don't know what he's looking at, but and I'm not saying Saquon looks exactly like Saquon, but it got him it got him loose and it got him some confidence in his knee and he looks a little heavy, but I don't know, his thighs are so, he's got those thunder thighs already. But the point is, that got them within 3. And then there's a third down play, a 3rd and 7 at the 38 with 58 seconds left. And Danny Dimes dropped a dime to Golladay. If we could see this. And this is a big throw because it sets up. He just escaped. You know, he's a big physical receiver. Yeah. I mean, they paid him a lot of money for a reason.
Yeah, okay? Exactly.
And that sets up the tying field goal, which takes it to overtime, and then they win the toss, as we know, in overtime. I'm going to probably see a bunch of that on Sunday.
I hope so.
And then in overtime, there's another big play, a 3rd and 5 at the 29 to Golladay for 23 yards, if we could see that. And that sets up the game-winning run by Saquon. But listen, Daniel Jones is a talent. I don't care what anybody says. He can throw it and he can run it.
But it's the fortunate he just throws it to the other teams, too.
I got it. But that's a big-time throw.
Yeah.
And a big-time play, which sets up 6 yards by Saquon to put the game away. I think we have that as, or maybe,
it is.
Yeah, here we go. This ends it because New Orleans never got the ball in overtime. So you don't think they're coming on, riding a high off that game?
Yeah, I'm sure they're feeling good about themselves.
They're feeling real good about themselves. They hate the Dallas Cowboys because everybody in that division hates the Dallas Cowboys. And so here they come to Jerry World, where over the years they've had some success. Unfortunately, this is Dak's revisit of the game that put him out for the rest of the threatened his career, obviously. And they fell dangerously behind in that game to the Giants a year ago.
Correct.
So the Giants will come in with huge confidence. So I think not only number one, should they be 7? Yes, they should be 7-point favorites, but there is no way I'm going to give you the 7 because I think it's going to be a close game.
No.
I just demonstrated the weaponry that they have.
But you talk about your Dak and how good Zeke and that two-headed monster, Thunder and Lightning, the Pollard and Zeke.
Oh, baby Zeke, bounce back Zeke.
Yeah, and then you talked about, CD. You love some CD.
We haven't seen him explode yet.
Yeah, and Lawrence and Wilson, and you talk about your tight ends and Blake Jarwin and
Schultz.
I
got 2 of them.
Yeah.
They're both really good.
And the offensive line, you said Pro Football Focus said we got the best graded run blocking offense in football.
Yeah, and did you see what happened to Zach Martin in their quarter pole, all-league team that Brady was
he's the best offensive lineman.
He was the best right guard.
Yeah.
And guess who was second at left tackle? Ty Smith would finish second on their all-pro team at the quarter
So y'all
pole.
got 2 of the top 5 linemen in all of football.
Okay, I got it.
So
my defense is flying.
And so with that being said, I'm going to need 10
turnovers,
points.
Taking balls
I'm going to need 10.
Yeah, I thought you were making a case that the Giants were going to flat out, straight up win this game.
I need 10.
10 what?
Points. You got 2 top 5 offensive linemen. You just told me you got the second best running game in football. Your quarterback's player, he's on the MVP plate. You got wide receivers. You got tight ends. We got 2 tight ends.
I got a cornerback who was player of the month, and now he's player of the week again.
I'm going to need 13 then. And you got Michael Parsons, who's graded number 1 rookie. We're going to talk about him.
Number 1 rookie. Okay.
I need 13.
I've got all of the above.
You should win by 2 touchdowns.
My defense is so loaded that we said, Jalen Smith, we don't need him. Let's just cut him.
So y'all should win by 2 touchdowns. Easy.
It's going to be a close game, and we will win it. That's all I know. My money is on Dallas to win the game.
I'm going to need 8
by
points.
By fewer than 7 points.
I need 8.
You're not going to get them.
Skip,
you've been raving about the Giants. I just demonstrated to you the firepower that they possess.
Skip, the last 3 weeks you come out here on a Monday and bang the table. What'd you do? Tell me what you do every Monday. You come out here, you look in your camera. What you do?
I'm not going to do it now. Or I'll jinx them.
Exactly. You come out here.
It's what happens. They earn it. They earn their way to a table bang.
Give me 8.
I might think about giving you 3.
No, you're going to think about giving me at least 7. That's the bare minimum I take.
You said it all week. You've been just raving, singing the praises of Danny Dimes.
Nope.
Or as I've called him before, Danny Nichols.
Well, what about your guy? You got a $75 million quarterback. That means he's the best in the game.
Yep. And
Okay.
he's lived up to it
Okay,
so far.
then. So that's why I need that.
Yep. I got Keanu Neal coming off COVID. He's back.
Oh, my God.
I got my defense just flying around.
Yeah, you got
Jaron Curse. Every time I look up, he's in the middle of another play.
Oh, yeah, because y'all got all them guys just
Anthony Brown has been sensational so far. Taking the ball away.
Give me 8 points.
We're second in turnovers in the league. My God.
8.
Huh? I'll give you 3 right now. You can take it or leave it. 3 points. It's a division battle. You know what happens in division battles.
I'm going to leave it.
Yep. What happens when the Broncos play the Raiders? What happens? Crazy happens, right? Well, you know and I know.
Yeah, it used to be crazy happen, but when we were really good back in the mid-'90s, we beat the brakes off the
Beat the brakes off.
Yeah.
I hope my team beats the brakes, but I am not trusting that. I'm not jinxing that. I'm not betting on it because it will be a close game and we will prevail because that's what we do.
You will not prevail.
We're not pounding the table anytime soon here. That is a Monday tradition, Shannon. Don't try to jinx him around
It ain't going to happen next Monday,
It's not going to happen. And that's how I know how the show will go.
I'm not saying a word.
Whether or not we get a pound on the table. I won't even do it, Skip. I won't even jinx it for you.
No mercy.
At halftime of the Lakers' preseason loss yesterday, Skip got Twitter fired up by posting, quote, "Can't wait to see LeBrick and Westbrook launching threes from the Lakers backcourt." And Shannon, I got a feeling you have something to say here. Do you have a problem?
You're not
with
laughing.
This tweet?
Man, this Skip just being a hater. You quick to point out that Russell Westbrook wears 0 because he has 0 rings.
Yep.
If you don't mind me asking, how many rings does James Harden have?
We're not talking about James Harden. We're talking about Westbrook and LeBrick.
Oh, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up.
Yep.
Did you know that LeBron James shot a better from the 3 last year than James Harden? Do you know that?
I don't even care.
But you just called him LeBrick.
I did.
And he shot better from the 3 than James. Did you know he shot better from the 3 than Bradley Beal? Did you know he shot better from the 3 than Trey Young? Skip.
Did you know that last year at 36%, LeBron ranked 110th of 156 qualified, 110 of 156.
So if he ranked 110,
that is way below average.
So let me get this straight. So if he ranked 110 or 156 and he shot better than Harden, Beal, and Young, where did they rank?
I don't care.
But why you don't? So
I didn't
why
tweet
you calling
about
the
them.
brick?
I didn't tweet
so
about
why'd you creep the brick then? If it's not hate, what is it?
It's truth.
How can
I hit a nerve of truth. It's a truth nerve.
Think about what
I hit your truth nerve.
Think about what you're saying. You're saying he's terrible, but he shoots better than the guy that you got on the team that you say go win the title. Let that sink in what you're saying.
I got Kevin Durant. That's all I care about.
So James Harden doesn't matter.
Kevin Durant shot, 45% from 3 last year?
Hold on. But
he's the best player on the planet. It's over.
So you hold on. So you can win a title without James Harden. If I take James Harden away from the Nets,
James Harden became the point guard for the Brooklyn Nets, and he is extraordinary as a distributor. I didn't know he had that in him, but he is.
Skip, he's led the league in assists. What do you mean you know he's in?
I just didn't see it coming. He is an artist with the basketball as a quarterback.
Okay, but you're saying LeBron is LeBrick, but he shot better from the 3 than guys that you would think that shot better than him.
Okay.
Everybody would tell you Bradley Beal is a better 3-point shooter. Everybody would tell you that Trey Young and James Harden are better 3-point shooters.
Yep.
But LeBron shot better than them. So how is what you're saying truth if you can't back it up with stats?
Okay. Since LeBron James has entered the league, of the 3-point shooters who have attempted at least 4 threes per game, that's fairly high volume. Of those, there are 134 of those. LeBron ranks 120th. That's LeBrick, especially when you're calling him the GOAT and the best player on the planet. That is double LeBrick. That's underlining the brick.
Okay.
Okay, remember, that's 120th of 134 since he came in the league. He is a lousy, high-volume 3-point shooter. Do you realize the last 3 years he has either tied or set his career most attempts? He is shooting more and more threes and making fewer threes.
So if you don't mind me asking, LeBron James came into the NBA in 03. If you don't mind me asking, other than Carmelo Anthony, and so we're going to do this. We're going to say KD. We're going to say Harden. We're going to say Steph. We're going to say Dame. Which one of those guys came in between 03 and 06?
Okay,
None of them.
So your point is what?
So my thing is you're saying since he came into the league, LeBron James was in the league 5-10 years longer than some of the guys you're talking about.
He's LeBrick from 3, and now he's shooting more threes because he's chasing Kareem.
So what is Bradley Beal?
I don't care about
So what's James Harden?
I'm only talking about LeBrick. Let's now focus on number 0 rings. Westbrook.
He had the same number of rings as James Harden. And James Harden is gagged. Most turnovers in a game in playoff history. James Harden, 14.
Russell Westbrook is simply the worst superstar jump shooter in the history of this league. And it's not even close because he is pathetic from three. Do you realize he's a career, last year he's 31.5, but he's a career 30.5 three-point shooter. Okay. So he's barely over 30%.
Okay, he's not a great three-point shooter, but
and you realize 3 of the 4 previous seasons, he's been below 30% as a three-point shooter, and he'll still jack him up. So that was my tweet, right? I just can't wait to see him launch threes, those two, LeBrick and Westbrook.
Think about this. Here's a guy that doesn't shoot threes. He's a poor three-point shooter, but somehow has found a way to turn himself into an MVP of the league, has turned himself into an all-NBA player, to turn himself into an all-star.
Triple doubles, TDs.
Well, hey,
he scores TDs like crazy.
It's like Tom Brady. Tom Brady has found a way, even though he doesn't have any speed, he's found a way to make himself a great football player because he can do other things. So you see what you do is that focus on what a guy can't do, as opposed to focusing on what he can do.
Westbrook continues to try to do what he can't do because you know and I know he will jump shoot like crazy, and he is high volume, low makes.
Skip, I'm not trying to defend his three-point shooting percentage, but you also, if you'd have just kept that on Russell Westbrook, I'd have said okay. But once you brought LeBron into it, and he shoots the three last year better than Harden, Trae Young, and Bradley Beal, you lost.
Okay, now let's talk about free throw shooting, shall we?
That is what you
these are partners in crime, and you have paired them up because LeBron James last year shot 69.8% from the free throw line. That ranked 98th of 110 qualified free throw shooters. Last year, Russell Westbrook, who used to be a decent free throw shooter, he has just plummeted. He's got the free throw demons. I'm not saying it's Ben Simmons-esque, but we're heading in that direction. Last year, Russell Westbrook shot 65.6% from the free throw line. That ranked 103rd of 110 qualified. 103rd. So you got the 98th and the 103rd free throw shooters of higher volume free throw shooters.
So let me ask you a question.
That's abominably bad. That's frighteningly bad for you.
It's a simple yes or a simple no. Is Russell Westbrook an upgrade over Dennis Schroeder? Yes or no? Now, I don't want to hear anything about this. Is he an upgrade? Yes or no?
Okay, what did I tell you before the year?
I can't get
it's not a yes or no answer. I told you I would love your team with Rondo as the starting point guard and Buddy Hield as your two guard. Three-point shooter.
If Rondo was so great, why wasn't he able to do that for the Clippers? Why wasn't he able to do that for Atlanta?
Well, I know what in Atlanta, that was just a money grab, right? It's Trae Young's team.
But he came in off the bench. So why wouldn't he show more? That was a playoff team. You don't realize
I thought he was going to be the magic move for my Clippers.
Okay,
and
then what happened?
Unfortunately, he defied and clashed with Kawhi Leonard, and it's game over.
No, he didn't defy Kawhi Leonard missed a shot. He airballed a shot.
Yeah.
And he got mad at Rondo. Rondo's like, I passed you the ball.
Rondo got mad at him in public, and it was over.
Why would Rondo get mad? I passed you the ball.
After that moment, do you know what happened? A bunch of DNPs started happening.
Skip, all I'm saying is this. Is he an improvement? Is Russell Westbrook an improvement over Schroeder?
I don't know, because the pluses get outweighed by the minuses because he's led the league in turnovers 4 times and finished second 4 times.
How many
high usage rate?
How many times has Dennis Schroeder led the league in assists? How many all NBA teams? How many MVPs for Schroeder? So whatever the drawbacks are,
Russell Westbrook is a stat machine of a solo act.
In other words, he is an upgrade over Dennis Schroeder, which is on my only question.
Okay, Russell Westbrook has mastered the art of triple doubles, and he does so by attacking the basket at will, like a demon at going at the basket. And he learned if he draws 2 arms at the basket, just leave it on the floor for somebody to dunk.
Yeah. If it's so easy, why isn't everybody doing that? Why haven't more people done that? Why haven't more people say, you know what, I can go to the basket, and when they challenge me, I can just drop it off? Why haven't more people done it?
It does not contribute to winning.
Okay, I'm sure there are other people that can do that. Russell Westbrook is not the most talented NBA player in the history of the game.
Okay.
So if it was so easy, why don't more people get triple doubles?
Okay, number 0 rings is 8-21 in the postseason since Kevin Durant said, I've had enough of you. That's all you need to know.
So what's James Harden's record?
Okay, I don't care. We're talking about Westbrook and LeBron.
But see, exactly.
Okay?
What you tried to highlight.
Their statistics are abominable.
So,
they should scare you to death.
But think about what you said. You said LeBron, you put LeBron in there. His statistics are terrible, but he shot better from the three than Bradley Beal, Trae Young, and James Harden. And then you say it doesn't matter. But you tweeted that, so clearly it mattered.
LeBron is the worst late-game free throw shooter we've ever seen.
Tweet that, and I think this guy's going to have a lot to say about it. Yes, the tweets are going to keep coming, Shannon, with the season around the corner.
No mercy.
Today on FS1, it's a huge ALDS Game 1 doubleheader. First, the White Sox take on the Astros, then the Red Sox battle the Rays. Coverage begins at 3 p.m. Eastern, only on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. So fans noticed a friendly moment between Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers during the Steelers-Packers game on Sunday. And on the Pat McAfee show this week, Rodgers' former teammate A.J. Hawk joked that it looked like his quarterback was flirting with the Pittsburgh coach. Rodgers then tried to put the rumors of him wanting to play for the Steelers to rest. Take a listen.
Look, I'm just speaking the truth. They asked me a question about Mike Tomlin. I'm going to tell them how I feel about Mike Tomlin. If you want to take that and run with it and say I'm, angling for some sort of next team or something, I'm not. I'm just answering a question about my respect for Mike and what he's accomplished in the league, and same for, I talked about Ben.
Shannon, what do you think? Is Rodgers angling to be Pittsburgh's next quarterback?
No, Skip. He was trying to quick count him. And Aaron Rodgers has gotten a lot of these quarterbacks get you with 12 minutes. They see you try to get a substitution. They hurry up to the line of scrimmage. Mike Thomas said, "No, you're not going to get me with that one. Let me get that time out." And there was like, I almost had you, Mike. You thought you got me.
Okay.
Guess who would have got caught with 12 men on the field? Your Dallas Cowboys, because your head coach can't think that fast.
If you can't beat them, trick them. That's what Aaron says.
Tom Brady has done that for years.
He has not. Not like
Tom
Aaron
Brady.
does.
Tom Brady is known for this.
Aaron's turned it into an art form.
Yes.
He is not known for it.
Tom Brady, how many times has Tom gotten people with 12
so what's the point here? What's he doing? What's he trying to say? What message is he sending?
All he's trying to say, I almost had you, Mike. Mike said, you thought you got me, but I watched tape too. I know you tried to get me with 12 men on the field and get you a quick first down or a quick cheap 5 yards, but nah, bro. You got to get up early in the morning, get old Mike T. Let me get that time out, official.
Okay, but Aaron has been raving about Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers for 2 weeks. Before the game, then after the game. I believe he is once again angling for sympathy. He's angling to show Packer Nation that, hey, I just might go be Pittsburgh's quarterback and replace Ben Roethlisberger, because he wants Packer Nation to once again say, please don't leave, Aaron. Please, we'll be nothing without you.
Why would I want to go to Pittsburgh with that shaky offensive line and Juju as one of my wide receivers? Hey, I got Deontay. I got Lazard. I got Scanlon. I got a solid offense, especially when Bakhtiari comes back. In my offensive line, I have a very good offensive line. I got Aaron Jones.
I've been trying to tell you that. Okay? But you don't have Mike Tomlin.
But
you don't.
It doesn't matter.
You don't have the Pittsburgh hierarchy. You don't have the class and commitment of that franchise to greatness.
Yeah, guess what? Players win. You keep thinking hold on. If it's not players, why didn't Coach Belichick? Coach Belichick got the organization. He got the backing, but he ain't got that player.
Okay.
It takes players.
Okay, so Aaron's trying to recreate more leverage with Packer management just so they'll be a little bit afraid that he might be angling to leave for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
There are so many more better opportunities. The Broncos are a better opportunity than Pittsburgh.
Okay, I got you. But I believe, I've told you from the start, Aaron Rodgers wants to retire a Packer, but he wants to do it his way, and he wants to stay in control. And the best way to stay in control is to continue to drop hints. I might go to Denver. That was the whole offseason. I might go to Pittsburgh. That's during the season.
He ain't going to Pittsburgh.
Okay, I agree with you. I'm calling his bluff on this one, but he is definitely angling toward going to Pittsburgh.
No, he ain't angling to go to no Pittsburgh, Skip. It's like when you call a play and the defensive guy calls the play, and you ended up calling a timeout, and you smiled like, oh, you knew what was gonna come, huh? Yeah, we studied tape too. That's all that was.
No, I know what it was. But before the game, he was just raving about the Steelers' tradition.
Yes.
And their head coach. And I don't blame him. He should be raving about it.
Skip, that's a storied franchise. That's a cornerstone franchise. Yes, they do things. They've only had 3 coaches since 1969. What other team can say that has only had 3 coaches in the last 10 years? Only a handful. You got to go Harbaugh, you got to go Big Red, and you got to go Coach Belichick. Everybody else has been Pete Carroll. Everybody else has been shuffling.
All I care about is I would like to see Aaron Rodgers win just one NFC Championship game instead of choking.
He's already done one. He's already got a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he beat the immortal Caleb Haney in Chicago.
You said you wanted to see him win a championship game. I've given you he won one and a Super Bowl. So
it was more than 10 years ago.
But did he win?
He's 1-4 in NFC Championship games, and he stunk up the fourth quarter of this past year.
So if I win a batting title in 1975, it doesn't matter in 1990.
Yeah, guys, we got a different quarterback we got to talk about here. No mercy. It's interesting here because Chargers defensive end Joey Bosa said that Derek Carr got shook while taking a sack on Monday night, and the Raiders QB responded yesterday. Carr told reporters yesterday, quote, maybe he's just trying to get under my skin. So good job for that, but that's not a bad thing either. Shannon, did you like Carr's response?
No, I get it. Yeah. Comments when someone, for a player, makes comments about you that's in a negative light, sure, it's going to get under your skin, Skip. But the thing that I've always told people, you never let a person know what makes you tick. Because if you let them know what makes you tick, they can wind you up and make you tick when they want to. I would prefer him to just internalize that. I'm going to see you again. I want you to have that same energy.
And he will see him again. The final regular season game is in Las Vegas, and it's featuring those Los Angeles.
Right, and it might be for a division title or for a playoff berth.
Okay, so we just witnessed Derek Carr getting shook again after the game by these comments.
Right.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to hear that. I don't want you to acknowledge that, admit to that, because he got you. He got you good. And he's saying, I guess that's what it was all about. Well, it was.
Yes.
He got you. He's got you on the run. So this is what I don't love about Derek Carr.
Right.
And I'm sure somewhere John Gruden's shaking his head again saying, well, he took the bait.
I mean, think about it, Skip, how many times defenders have said that about any quarterback, about any receiver. Oh, he was scared. That's why he wouldn't catch it. Okay. I'm just going to use that. When I see you again, you'll see if I'm scared.
Don't tell us,
it's so
show us.
interesting how you hear everything these days with social media. Great stuff. Skip, Shannon, back same time tomorrow. The Herd is on now. Good rest of the day.